and a happy Memorial Day to you and yours from the Brevard Sports Network, and welcome to Mouthing Off Sports Talk. Mouthin Off Sports Talk, I should say. First thing we want to do, obviously, is honor those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could be here doing exactly what we're doing today. So we say thank you to all of those out there that have done so and giving their lives for our great country and republic here in the United States of America. So thank you, and we certainly do appreciate it. Beautiful Memorial Day here in Brevard County, a special edition of Mouthing Off Sports Talk. And, this was a show we originally wanted to do this was a show we actually launched last summer, and it was supposed to be part of a summer to fill content, quite honestly. And we tried a Sunday night deal. It really didn't work out. But lo and behold, we're back to summertime again, and so we will be relaunching the show twice a week during the week in the summertime in the afternoons. So we hope that you'll be with us. And again, here on Mouthing Off Sports Talk, we'll cover everything from local sports, even in the summertime, Little League, you name it, we'll cover it, up to the pros. And we got a lot of sports to talk about today. There's no doubt about it. We got our Angels and our Idiots of the week. We've got auto racing. It's not Memorial Day without auto racing. We'll talk about the Indy 500 yesterday, which was a fantastic race. Take a quick peek at the Coca Cola 600, which may or may not run today, as the Xfinity race has been pushed back again in Charlotte, North Carolina, due to weather. Obviously, we'll preview Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals with the NBA between the Celtics and the Heat. The Celtics have become the fourth team in NBA history to force a Game 7 after going down 3-0. We'll give you all the inside stats and historic things you need to know about what the Miami Heat are facing tonight at 8:30. We'll also talk the NFL schedule release. We'll take a look at the Bucs, Fins, and the Jags and tell you how we think they're going to do. We'll also tell you who the top 10 best quarterbacks in the AFC are. Quite honestly, the NFC has no quarterbacks other than maybe Jalen Hurts, and the AFC seems to have them all. Now, we'll also talk a little bit of hockey, because if there is one South Florida team that knows how to finish the deal, it is the Florida Panthers. So we'll talk about Matt Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers. We'll talk about Major League Baseball, my Baltimore Orioles, and, of course, the Tampa Rays, and how Major League Baseball is shaping up really here at the quarter pole. We'll have our Elite Eight, and when I say our, we'll have our esteemed guests joining us here in just a second. So there is a lot to get to here today, and before we do that, let me first tell you that today's show is, as always, the show is brought to you by Archaic Design Incorporated. Archaic Design, located down in Palm Bay, for the best in home design, kitchen, and bath. 321-956-2066, archaicdesign.com. Connect Sports Funding, team fundraising solved. Tracy and his staff do a great job at Connect Sports Funding. You need money raised, connectsportsfunding.com. We also, of course, want to thank Better View Cabinets and Surfaces. They are the sponsor of our Plays of the Week. But we also have a ton of Plays of the Week coming up. BlackRock Engineering and Technology, also a major sponsor here on Mouthing Off Sports Talk, as is Zone 6, 7v7 and athletic training. We'll tell you all about all of these great sponsors throughout the course of the show. And, of course, happy to welcome back Uberzadi for another great fall of high school sports coming up. But joining me here today, as these guys do always, at the top of your screen, the man, the myth, the living legend. He is rising. I got to find a new nickname for him, because he's no longer the super sophomore, as he has, I guess moved on from his sophomore season, or from his sophomore year. He'll be a junior next year at Satellite High. The one, the only, the Jackson Robb. And on the bottom right over there, the cool, calm, and collected stud, I might add. Baseball, softball stud here on the cast today. And Caleb, we're going to start with you today because you got the shades on, and I'm assuming you're going to tell us why you're wearing shades today. And on the left-hand side of the screen is Caleb's baseball card from Suntree Elementary. You'll see Caleb's jersey hanging up in the back there. Caleb, tell us about all that.
Well, there's a teacher-faculty challenge that's been happening at USSSA, and it's been featuring Suntree Elementary, Manatee Elementary, Viera Elementary, and Quest Elementary. And in some way, they pull straws. They find ways to determine who plays who.
So it's a faculty softball game at USSSA Stadium.
Yes.
All right.
And this year, I am a janitor custodian at Suntree Elementary. We played Manatee. We fell 14-2, but your boy did what he does best, comes through in the clutch, went 1 for 1.
My man. Let's give it up, Caleb. 1 for 1 now. What I'm envisioning in my head is a line drive in the gap that you just couldn't get the second. But I'm envisioning what do you see here when he says 1 for 1?
I was thinking a shot right down the third base line.
Yeah, right.
You just a solid hit.
Well, what happened?
So it was a line drive to the shortstop.
Right.
And got the person at second out, but I beat out to keep the inning alive.
Hey, he beat out the throw. All right.
The inning did not end on my at bat.
There you go. All right. So you guys didn't come out on top.
No.
But that's okay. Here's hoping next year somebody gets in touch with us so we can broadcast this thing. We'll see. Jackson, sophomore year is complete. And a sentence or two. How would you recap your sophomore year at Satellite High School?
It was fun. I mean, it was got more involved in lacrosse and everything than freshman year. It was, just a lot more involved and doing a bunch of stuff. But definitely glad it's over for now.
What do you got? If there ever was a song, and you're going to have to look it up, obviously, because I know it probably written before I was born. There's a song called "Traveling Man." All right. So I know as much as your mom and dad like to travel, where is the Ward family going this summer?
Well, this week we're going to Europe.
Where in Europe?
England and Germany.
Okay.
And then
do we foresee like a Griswold type European vacation here, or what will this be like?
I don't know yet. It'll be fun. I mean, yeah, it'll be new for sure. Then I have a lacrosse tournament after that.
Okay.
And then a broadcasting camp in North Carolina.
All right. And
then I'm going to see family in Illinois.
All right. So we'll see you sparingly this summer here on Mouthin' Off Sports Talk. But, guys, it was let's start with the recaps of now, my angel of the week. Now, I know we do idiots and angels at the end of the week, but I'm going to start this week with my angel of the week at the beginning of the show because I feel before we do anything this week, we need to make sure that we certainly recognize this individual for an amazing career. And I, of course, am speaking of Coach Scarby with Rockledge Track. Rockledge Raiders coach Beth Scarborough has finally retired. And I say finally, meaning that not finally she gets away, but, man, she has put so much time into Rockledge Track. After 40 years of education and coaching, Coach Scarby announced her retirement a couple of days ago. Coach started at Rockledge High School in 1983 and has really been a, no pun intended here, rock of the program ever since. She's taught generations of student athletes and students there. Her girls track and field teams are on a 13-year winning streak. in the Cape Coast Conference, which is absolutely incredible in and of itself. And what she did to help get that track replaced was incredible. Furthermore, I mean, I can't tell you how many times Coach Scarby has won Coach of the Year honors, track Coach of the Year honors. And I know, Caleb, you went to Rockledge High School. You know Coach Scarby. What would you say?
She's just an amazing person, an amazing teacher, an amazing coach. She's a lot like Coach Lusk in a way. She'll be there to tell you every little thing you're doing wrong, but the moment you accomplish anything you were trying to accomplish, she is the first one to stand there and greet you and tell you, I knew you had it in you.
And the reason that you were able to accomplish anything is because of what likely she was telling you to begin with, correct?
She's very much that old school, will nitpick at the smallest little detail, which is needed for track.
Right. Yeah, because you know, as you're going to see, state championships don't come easy.
No, they do not.
And they have certainly won their individually fair share, and of course they've had some runners up there as well. So I just wanted to get my Angel of the Week out this week, which is Coach Scarby. So let's give it up, guys, for Coach Beth Scarborough, who is retiring after 40 years. She is going to join her husband in retirement. I believe his name is Mike Scarborough. And they're gonna, and it's a well-deserved retirement. So congratulations, Coach Scarby, on a phenomenal career from us here to Brevard Sports Network. Enjoy your retirement. Let's stay with the theme of track because Brevard County really had an outstanding go at it. We had, I believe, 5 individual champions. Leanna Tyson, she took home 2 more state titles. She pulled the sprint double, winning the 100 and the 200. And, of course, she was on the second leg of that 4x100 team for Coco that won the state back-to-back state championship. So congratulations to Leanna Tyson, and you'll see Leanna there on your screen. And what a phenomenal athlete she is. And, again, winning the 100 and the 200. And there you see on the screen her 200 run. This video, of course, courtesy of the NFHS network. She won this race 2 years ago, and her time was 11:53 in the 100. And you'll see the 200 coming up. But Leanna Tyson, just an amazing, outstanding high school career. She finishes as a decorated 5-time champion, 3 individual honors, and, of course, the back-to-back 4x100. And there you see her coming down the stretch. And I mean, she really just got out in front in both races. And I love the way when she crosses the finish line here, she'll look right at the camera, and she knows right here. Watch. You'll see her. Watch her. Yeah, I won. There, yep, that's me. And congratulations to Leanna Tyson, because that was just a job well done. Also, congratulations to Junior. I tell you what, Alizea Williams captures the 2A triple jump, and the good news is we get to see Miss Williams come back for a second go-around, a chance to defend next year. And then, of course, the Coco 4x100 girls relay team captures back-to-back state championships. And here is that 4x100 race. The Parhams, they start, I believe that's Angel starting off there. And then she'll hand off to Leanna Tyson. And then Tyson will then hand off to Angel's sister. And then, of course, Shantaria will come down the stretch with it, the final 100 meters. But the Coco girls back-to-back 4x100 state champs. And they actually go on to finish as 2A state runners-up, which is phenomenal. So let's give it up, guys, for the Coco Tiger girls track team who finishes state runners-up. And really, Miss Williams, I believe she picked up, I want to say 21 of the 55 points I think she had in the competition for the day. So just a phenomenal day for her. There were other state track champs. How about Rios Prude? Congratulations. Go ahead, Caleb.
Rios is just a phenomenal athlete. I don't think a lot of people have given him credit for the high school career he has had and for the greatness that we have seen in Rios Prude.
No, I don't think so either. I think he runs a PR of 46.83 in his win in the 400. He finished over a second faster than second place. So congratulations, Rios. Rockledge didn't have one state champ. They had two, as Melinda Underwood, and there you see a picture of her on your screen. When I went up for media day, she kind of had her medals up there, and I said, throw them over your shoulder, like they're a lot to carry. And she did, and, of course, she adds a 3,200-meter 3A state title. She finishes in a time of 10:55 and 18. And I'm going to put the pressure on Melinda now. I'm going to put the pressure on her now because I believe she finished second in the 1,600. So I expect next year 3 state championships from Melinda. I expect a cross-country state championship. I expect a 1,600 state championship and a 3,200 state championship. Melinda, I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on you there. MCC with a track champ as well. And I want to say congratulations to Justin Ward. Woolard won the 1A long jump state championship. He had a leap of 7.13 meters as he collected gold in Jacksonville. So congratulations, another terrific track season for Brevard County. And why wouldn't it be, as we have some of the most outstanding track coaches in the country right here in Brevard County. Any final thoughts on the track season, guys?
I just love the success out of Brevard. That's all there is. All there is there.
Had a chance to talk to Matt Susan at walk-ons prior to the start of the Viera State Championship baseball game, and I referred to the county as the little engine that could, because when you put this county up against the Miamis, the Jacksonvilles, the Tampas, the Orlandos of the world, the big metropolitan areas, per capita, we kick a little bit of ass, guys. There's just no doubt about that.
Take no prisoners.
Take no prisoners. And, of course, a big part of our spring was spent covering Viera Hawks Baseball. They come up just short in the state championship as they fall to the Sickles Griffins 4-2 in the state championship. But what a ride for the 12 Viera seniors. And, it was just a lot of fun covering this team this year. The Viera Hawk RBI Club, Pete Sosa, had reached out to us, and we came to an agreement where we would broadcast 15 regular season games. We didn't quite get to 15, but we ended up doing 17 throughout the course of the year. Here's hoping. I know Dave Jensen's going to take over that next year. And listen, they got 3 guys that are moving on to play college baseball, and then you got guys like Luke Campbell that's going to the Naval Academy, and Jack Malatino, who's going off to college. And, this is a very successful team on and off the field. But the big talk over the next couple of weeks is obviously going to be Alex Sosa. And what does Alex Sosa do? Coming into the state tournament, Sosa was the 118th listed prospect on MLB.com, which would put him in the 4th round somewhere. Obviously, he's committed to go to NC State. I looked up to see what that 4th round money, 5th round if he slipped there, or 3rd round if he moved up there, money would be. So anywhere between 3rd and 5th round, you're talking between $600,000 to $700,000, down to about $450,000 at bottom to ceiling there. I honestly think if he's my son, go play baseball. You get that kind of an offer, go play baseball. Your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it was just an incredible season this year for Viera. I mean, getting to watch them in the games that I did, it's just a complete team, top to bottom. They got athletes, they got stars everywhere. So I wish them all the best of luck moving forward. And again, had a great time covering them.
What do you think about the Sosa thing? What would you? Let me put it to you. I'm interested to get your thoughts on this because you're a student. All right. Let's say in 2 years you're offered a scholarship to go play lacrosse at North Carolina. Your dream school. That's all you ever wanted to do was play lacrosse at North Carolina, right? But by this time, let's theoretically say lacrosse is blown up so much that the professional leagues, what is it, the PBL, what is it? PLL comes and says, well, Jackson, we're gonna select you in the second round. We're going to give you $350,000 a year. You're going to start off playing in our minor league system. But with your skills and ability, we could foresee you moving up sometime in the next 2 years. What would Jackson and Rob do?
Personally, I mean, if that's what I'm chasing, which it would be, then I would go professionally because, I mean, it's an opportunity that you can get. I mean, you can go back and
go back to school.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You go back to school if you want, but you can't pass up really on that opportunity. If that's what you're fighting for, that's what you're striving for, and you get that opportunity, I say go for it. That's what I would do. I think you take that risk and just go do what you want to do. Some guys, even if you don't make it up to the major leagues, which I don't doubt Alex could, but you're still doing what you want to do at a professional level.
And getting paid well to do it.
Yeah. So I would take that shot and go live out your dream.
All right, Caleb, let's say the Professional Softball League come. They saw your outstanding sacrifice, and they said, Caleb?
Well, I would say you take the professional route because in Alex Sosa's situation, you have the ability and the option to pull a Carter Stewart too and go overseas.
He ain't gonna do that.
I'm not saying.
I know what you're saying, but I want to keep it realistic here. He's not going to Japan. It's not an option. The option is college or minor league baseball.
You go make your money while you can.
Right.
Because you can always come back for the education. The education will always be open. And it's good to help yourself and help your family while you have the ability. Not, say you go play college baseball. Heaven forbid an injury happens.
What's a year of college? Books, tuition, room and board. You figure out what all that's worth, right? And I think you take it and you go times 2.5. And let's throw a number out there theoretically. See, it's $80,000 a year to go to NC State, right? Living comfortably, okay? Books, $60,000 a year, let's say. 4 years is $240,000, right? $250,000 for 4 years of solid education. Maybe you red shirt, right? Take a year off. You can play 5 years, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if you can do that in college baseball. But let's say you go there for 5 years, right? So you take that and you go to let's say the bottom education number is $250,000. Times that by 2, $500,000. For me, that would have to be at least the starting number for me not to consider going to college. That's where I would put it. If it's anything less than that, then I'm going to play in NC State. Alex batted .471 this year. And don't forget this about Alex Sosa. 2 years ago, we weren't talking about Alex Sosa. Where we were talking about Riley Jackson, where we were talking about, we've been talking about Riley Jackson, and we're like, Riley Jackson's going to have a decision to make too, okay, because he's going to get drafted as well. And he's going to have to pick between Florida State and playing Major League Baseball, all right? So, but Riley has, Alex is a late bloomer, so he's still coming up. And Major League Scouts love this about Alex, the fact that he is still, coming up. .471 this year. Look, we're getting ready to release our players of the year, and we're going to do it a little bit differently this year in baseball. And I don't think it's any secret that Alex is probably going to be our guy, for our player of the year. But we're also going to pick a pitcher of the year and a manager of the year as well. But I think the bar is what does an education cost, times it by 2, and that's my number. If you can hit that number, and I love the way the Denenbergs did it with Mason. The way the Denenbergs did it with Mason Denenberg, he went off to Florida for a day or two. But the Washington Nationals knew he was serious, that he was going, and he was drafted in the first round. He gave them a number. They balked. He said, I'm going to Florida. And when they realized he was really going to go to Florida, they increased the offer. And now Mason Denenberg is not far away from being on the bump at Nationals Park. So there's a way to do it, and I know the Sosa family will definitely do what's best for them, and I know Alex will do what's best for him. So it's definitely going to be and the Jacksons, Riley Jackson, Bobby Jackson, Donna Jackson, his parents. It's definitely going to be interesting to watch how all of this plays out over the next month and a half. But again, it speaks to the talent level here in Brevard County, because you're talking about Carter Stewart, right? Don't forget, that year Carter Stewart went in the top, 8 to the Braves.
Yeah.
And Brady Denenberg went at 26 to the Nationals. So we had 2 Brevard County players drafted in the first round. And then we're going to get 2 more players, not in the first round, but we're going to have 2 more guys drafted in this year's draft. So, again, the little county that could is going to do it again this year. I want to say congratulations are certainly, speaking of outstanding, how about Palm Bay Pirates wrestling coach Sean Ballard? Sean Ballard was elected to the Florida chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. I believe those inductions and ceremonies will take place in August. So that's going to happen over in Orlando. So, guys, let's give it up for Coach Ballard. Coach Ballard, just amazing in his accomplishments as the wrestling coach at Palm Bay. And a couple of commitments we put up as well. Edgewood Red Wolves, Jack Leatherman. He did this about a month and a half ago, committed to Montevallo, University of Montevallo in Alabama. He's going to play lacrosse. And Caleb, I'll let you talk about this one. O'Galley standout, Sandman Thompson, verbally committed to Oregon. I want to talk about this for a minute, too, because I've gotten some text over this. But you know the Thompson family well.
Very well. Look, this is a young man who's always trying to find the next camp, always trying to find workouts. Occasionally, you'll even, you'll drive by the house. I can almost guarantee you'll see Sandman doing some type of workout. This kid just grinds and grinds and grinds, and I'm so excited to hear him commit to Oregon. And it's just, I'm really happy for the guy.
Yeah, I am too. And I got a couple texts asking me why, after just finishing his sophomore season, would he verbally commit now? Well, the answer is simple. And it's, these student athletes are really damned if they do and damned if they don't these days, especially with the way recruiting is. We instruct, and I say we, members of the media, guys, that are in their ears chirping, coaches, us, whomever, parents, telling them, man, if you, listen, the transfer portal, this, your chances, if you get, we tell them, right, if you get that offer, the biggest piece of advice that college coaches, recruiters, and those in the know have offered over the last 2 years, guys, has been, no matter how young you are, and we saw Jersey Ryder do this, right?
Yeah.
You know Jersey, who committed to Pitt as a sophomore pitcher, right? If you get that offer you want, and you get that offer you like, there's no loyalty in recruiting, especially from the college end of it, okay? So if you get that offer you like, take it. Sandman liked Oregon. He wanted it. He took it. And I don't blame him.
No.
He's still going to get offers. I'll take you back to Jawan Taylor, okay, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman now. Taylor's original commitment was to the University of Miami. And that's where Jawan Taylor wanted to go. But he verbally committed to Miami, and I believe Richie Leonard had originally committed to the University of Kentucky. Now, I'm not saying Sandman's not going to Oregon, but what I'm saying is this, is that there's still going to be schools that don't care that he committed to Oregon. He's got 23 offers already. He's going to get 23 more, okay? He's got 2 years to take visits, official visits, non-official visits. So if it's Oregon in 2 years, on the day that he's supposed to sign his national letter of intent, okay. Good.
Right.
Good for him. If it's not, good for him too. But he did the smart thing here, and I commend him for it. He took the offer right now, and I don't blame him, guys.
Look. When it comes to recruiting, and people don't like when this line's used, you got to do you. You got to do what's best for you. And like you said, there's no loyalty.
As quickly.
Exactly. And you said there's no loyalty at the college level, so
they'll drop your ass in a minute.
Right. You got to do what's best for you and your situation.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something I talk through. You talk about Jersey Ryder. I know him, and talking through that process with him, it's when you get what you want. Again, that's why you see guys decommitting and switching. When there may be something else that you want, but right now it's about putting yourself out there, saying I'm worth this, one up this, and also it's a scholarship. That's a scholarship spot for that team, and there's only so many that they can give out. So if you're getting offered that, and that's what you want to do, you have to accept that. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior doesn't have to be a big hat decision. It can just be, this is where I'm going, and we'll see where that goes.
And listen, as a Sandman, this he's what, 6'6", 6'5". I mean, he's already got a college body. He's gone to a place that puts guys in the NFL on a regular basis since the 2015 NFL draft. 29 Oregon Ducks have been chosen to play. 13 of them were selected in the first 4 rounds, 7 in the first. The ultimate goal when you're Jawan Taylor, Richie Leonard, and Chavez Sandman Thompson is when you have that kind of size. And I think that Thompson's ahead of both Leonard and Taylor at this stage of the game. I believe that. Okay, I believe he's ahead in his agility, his ability, and his size, okay? I really think Thompson has the opportunity to develop into something really special on the offensive line. And he's got a chance to play in the league as long as he keeps focused on and off the field. And Mama's going to make sure he does that.
If there is any player you would talk about staying focused off the field, it's him. And you mentioned Mama.
Yeah.
But he's
Alicia is...
He's constantly telling her that he's staying focused. Like I said, if you ride by their house, you constantly see him working out. He's doing some type of drill. He is always looking, on YouTube and trying to find stuff to make him better, even when he's not with somebody.
And the common thread here, like Jawan, like Richie, is family support. Jawan had it tremendously. Richie has it tremendously. Jawan has it tremendously. Richie has it tremendously, and so does Sandman.
And like his mother has been,
his mother, his aunts.
They've always been, they haven't tried to pressure him in anything. They said, work at your pace. We are here if you need us.
Yeah, he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him. And again, congratulations to Sandman Thompson on his commitment. All right. Spring football, guys. Let's put that up on the screen real quick here and recap that. Cocoa Beach with a big win over Mount Dora, 42-21. O'Galley, 17-0 over John Carroll. Park Vista, 17-5 over Melbourne. Palm Bay, we'll talk about that in a minute. 47-8 over Umatilla. Windermere, 33-8 over Astronaut. Viera exhales with a 52-21 win over Bayside. Satellite with a 20-14 win over Holy Trinity. Titusville picking up right where they left off. They defeat East River 21-0. Vero Beach gets past Heritage 13-10. Lake Buena Vista 21, Space Coast nothing. Rockledge beats Oakleaf in a jamboree 12-0, and they fall to Spruce Creek 7-6. All right, what stood out to you guys in spring football? You did a couple of games. I'm curious to get your take.
Viera's offensive firepower. I think you saw Chase Cromartie really take a step here in the spring. There was a lot of questions coming in. How would he bounce back from injury? And get used to hearing Cromartie to pillow for a touchdown.
What did Logan say?
So Logan Pettit on Zach Pillow's 5th touchdown reception from Chase Cromartie. This is getting ridiculous. Cromartie to my pillow
to put the defense to
put
sleep.
the defense to sleep.
That's a good one. That's a good one from my guy Logan. I got to give it up. That would be the call of the week. I was impressed, and I didn't get a chance to see him, but I was also impressed with what I read about Cocoa Beach, especially Aaron Garber, 26 carries, 233 yards, and there you see Aaron on your screen there. Quite the outstanding effort for Cocoa Beach. Also, Titusville gets that 21-0 win over East River, and nice, good game. You know, listen, spring games are good. There's reasons teams like Cocoa don't play them, but I believe they are necessary, okay? And you look at, like, Viera, for example. Man, did they need that fit.
Yes.
Look, it took them 7 games last year to collectively score 60 points. And to be able to go out and score 52 points against a team and I don't want to hear, well, they played a Bayside team that may be rebuilding this year. I don't want to hear that. If you're 0-10 last year, what the hell are you doing, right? I don't want to hear about, well, they played this team or that team, right? Bayside beat them last year.
Yes.
They were part of that 0-10 season Viera had last year. So for Cromartie and Pillow and Boobar, you know, what Chase Cromartie did shows he's working. 6 different receivers, 485 passing yards, 6 touchdowns in the game. That's a hell of a game, guys.
Yep.
And, man, did they need it. They really needed it.
And look, credit to Bayside, too. Bayside, you know.
They got a good quarterback in Brabham, too.
Brabham looked good coming back from injury.
Yeah.
He looked good. Bayside looks like they could be a fun team to watch this year, too.
Jackson, you were on the call for the O'Galley game, which was probably been a record setter if it were a regular season game. Didn't realize you needed to come up with some kind of special call for interceptions, but O'Galley had 7 of them.
Yeah, I mean, not that the offense did bad at all, but this defensive performance was something that I couldn't have drawn up. It was, I mean, at the start of the game, it was a little bit of back and forth. You know, nobody was scoring anything, and then it was just like, then John Carroll couldn't play offense at all, but it wasn't because their offense was bad. It was because O'Galley was just everywhere.
John Carroll was 8-2 last year.
Yeah, that was a good football team last year, and then they come in. O'Galley has to fight through a very good linebacker that John Carroll had. But 7 interceptions. Last play of the game, Xavier Larice takes one all the way back. I mean, the defense played all over the place. The offense played good. Running game, Tay Welch played very good. I like their run game. I like the way they're splitting backs. When they did pass the ball, it didn't go poorly either. So I think all around, low scoring for them. Defensively, they said a lot. Offensively, they did what they had to do. I like the performance from O'Galley. You pitch a shutout and take it into that summer off season with Coach Chris Sands, and I think this team will be pretty good come August. 5
playoff trips in 6 years for Sands. You're going to see something. I don't think, they've graduated a lot of good receivers, so you're going to see a different offense schematically, I think, with Welch and
Williams.
Delvonte Williams back there, right. Thank you, Caleb. But those were your 2 leading rushers last year, and they were sophomores, and they're rising juniors. So, I think this sets up really good for O'Galley in that you play good ball control offense, you run the football, you got an athletic quarterback in Jay Latson, gives you an opportunity to continue to develop a passer like a Brody Grantland. And it's not that Latson can't throw the ball, but he can work himself out of trouble. He'll get the ball downfield if he needs to. But Latson's abilities are clearly his athleticism.
Yes.
Okay? So you open it up a little bit, and then you play that type of defense. And you got athletes for days. Xavier X-Man Larice is amazing.
Ended the game with the pick 6 there?
Right.
Yeah, I was saying he's a freshman, too. And what you look at, for me, for O'Galley, too, is like last year you had all those great –
Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I was saying you had all those great players, obviously, all that talent, but it was older. This year you have the Sandman Thompson's a junior. The running backs are the juniors. Xavier Larice is a freshman this year, now rising sophomore. It's a young team now with still just as much talent, but now they can build on this, see what their identity is moving forward, and O'Galley now can shed a new light with a new group of guys.
No doubt. Another team I was thoroughly impressed with. A lot of people wondered, what would we see from Palm Bay? What would Palm Bay bring back to the table, right? Well, how about good old-fashioned Dan Burke smash mouth football? Squirm, power, trap, ISO. We saw it all. And what we saw was, and first of all, let me just say Mitchell Brown's defense from last year, just as fast, just as physical. In fact, I wrote he did his best Vin Diesel impression. His defense did their best Vin Diesel impression because that defense was equally as fast and equally as furious as it was last season. Remember, this is a defense that scored nearly as many points as the offense did last year. That's over with. I think the mistake that Palm Bay made last year was trying to take a team that clearly was a better running football team. Listen, I love Jake, but he loves to spread it out and throw it, and I don't know that he had that last year. Okay? What you're seeing this year is you're seeing Octavian Osby, Braden Cook, Zach Emery Foster under the power rushing attack of Dan Burke, the squirms, the powers, the traps, the ISOs. Man, I mean, listen, I get it. It's Umatilla. But Palm Bay scored on every possession. They scored in under 5 plays in nearly every possession. It was impressive. And then you even saw, Mike DeGore's the offensive coordinator there. Zach Emery Foster is an athlete, okay? So what you saw was DeGore infuse Foster in some similar ways that he would use Bryce Norton in that Viera offense a couple of years ago. And you just saw the touchdown pass there from Emery Foster to, I apologize, but I can't remember the receiver's name. But you're going to see a combination of what DeGore did at Viera with the spread them out and multiple formations to that Dan Burke power rushing attack. And when you have the offensive line that they have, and they have a good one, coupled with that defense, I think Palm Bay has a really good opportunity to be for real this year, guys.
Yeah, Palm Bay is one of the teams I look at here. No joke, could be a top 3 team in the county this year because they already had such a strong defense. That's all we were emphasizing last year, defense. Seeing that offense turn around and drop 47 points and score as easily as they did, Palm Bay could really be reloaded and ready to go. I mean, this is a team that is at least solid at pretty much every position group and then excelling at certain ones. So this team, I think, has a lot of the pieces, has the coaching, and has the ability to turn this into a very successful season. We'll see what Palm Bay can turn in, but I have a lot of confidence in this team this year.
Another team that didn't get the win, but they got robbed of a win. Let me just say that. And that's Heritage. The ref threw a flag on the sidelines late. It was 3rd down. Palm Bay or Heritage stopped Vero, and then the ref throws a ridiculous flag for 15 yards, gives Vero another shot. They throw a ball deep down the field, score a touchdown, whatever. Final score was 13-10. They let the JVs run a series, and Vero's JV scored, but I didn't count it, and I don't think they did either. But the thing that impressed me the most in this game was the defense. Listen, Eddie Mays, Michael Benson, they're going to get this offense figured out. They got a good quarterback. And Joe Tenna, we saw good things from Joe Tenna, and the thing that impressed me the most about Joe in this game, the biggest difference I saw in Joe was his patience. He went through his progressions. He didn't commit the costly turnover. He used his legs smartly. He threw the 47-yard touchdown pass, which was a little short, but the receiver had to come back a little bit and make a play. He did. He outran it, but it was a good play action by Joe. But Joe was good in this game. Joe knows what he needs to work on. He knows what he's got to do this year. But for me, when you're talking about Palm Bay, it was that defense. And I thought one of the greatest things that Michael Benson did this year was to bring back Mark Ainsley and have Mark Ainsley call this defense. Now, I know, look, this is a great coaching staff, and they got football minds for days on it. They really do. But this defense was impressive against a very good Vero offense last year. Listen, their quarterback is an SMU commit, all right, and they made him look very pedestrian. Guys, remember the name Deshaun Harper, transfer from Bayside at Heritage now. This young man, who will be a rising junior next year, will have, by the time he's a senior, I promise you he's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year in this county. He may even be this year. That's how good. He was in the Vero Beach backfield, maybe more than their running backs were. That's how good this kid was. And then you throw the Devin McDonald's in, and then you throw the Tayshawn Bensons in of the world. Benson is as fast and as physical as he's ever been. He looked really good out there. There you see a big hit there by King. It just was impressive to watch this defense, and I think this is a very good team who is the clear-cut favorite to win that district with Viera and Melbourne and Harmony, and I don't think there's any excuses for him this year, not for a senior quarterback like Joe Tenna, not for the speed and the physicality and the outstanding coaching staff they have. I'm calling my shot now. Heritage could really be something special this year.
Yeah, I would say I agree. This team at the end of last season, they had a rough start. But when they were at the end of the year, I thought that was a top 5 team in this county. They were rolling over people. Heritage was peaking at the right time. I think they were one of the best teams that didn't make the playoffs that I've seen.
I thought they got robbed.
Yeah, they were very close.
They beat Harmony, didn't they?
I think they did at the end of the year. And so they were peaking right at the right time, didn't get their shot to shine, but now they're still, I think, still on that peak into this season. And I think now with the district the way it is, and it's not that Melbourne, Viera, Harmony are bad, but I just think Heritage is good, and I think that they can, take these kind of games from these teams. And I do think Heritage, with the talent they have, the new coaching staff, but still having Mark Ainsley, what we were talking about this time last year with all the coaching departures, this county right now has a lot of the new coaching. You bring back kind of an elder statesman of the county coaching-wise, and Coach Ainsley back on your defense, keep him with this team. And, honestly, Heritage is in a good spot.
No doubt.
I want to say Logan and I were talking a little bit while we were doing the Viera Bayside game. To be honest, him and I both said we don't give Heritage any free passes.
I agree.
They are a team that, considering the talent they brought in and the brain trust in coaching staff they have, there is no excuse.
I could not agree with you more. Absolutely could not agree with you more. Final thoughts on spring football, guys, that we have not discussed. Again, I don't want to sit here and talk about teams I didn't see. Coming up a little bit later this week, I'm going to release the episode of the first edition of the MCC documentary that we're doing, and that's going to come out later on this week, so be on the lookout for that. Reborn, it's called, The Rise of Melbourne Central Catholic Football, with head coach Nate Hooks. Any final wrap-up thoughts on spring football? I hate spring football because it's such a tease, because I just want more of it. I hate it. Final thoughts, Jackson?
I just love seeing the teams like Cocoa Beach and Titusville, who had monumental turnaround seasons last year, show that they're not a fluke, come out and turn in great performances both ways. And, yeah, I just like seeing the teams continue where they left off. Most teams for Brevard this year, again, picking up right where they left off. No one's really fallen off. Nobody's jumping up. Well, some teams are jumping up, but teams are continuing the success that they were having and looking to make this season good all across the county.
On the screen right now, I'm replaying the Cocoa Beach highlights, and a guy like Aaron Garber, that's a big kid, just a sophomore. Anthony Self had 11 tackles for him. Logan Silver, the quarterback, a couple of touchdown passes in that one. They had another running back crack triple digits. So I'm interested to see what Cocoa Beach does this year. I'm interested to see what Satellite does. They got a win over Holy Trinity. Coach Helton, kind of texting back and forth with him a little bit. He was happy with his team's performance, but knows there's things they got to work on, obviously. Listen, those that get into that weight room this offseason and work out the kinks, bulk up a little bit more, really put the work. And this is why I really like Heritage, because I really love the way they exercise their off-season workout program, no pun intended. But I really think And, of course, Coco is going to be right there. We didn't see a spring game from Merritt Island. We didn't see a spring game from MCC. So, Coco doesn't need to play a spring game. Go ahead, Gil.
No. I would say I'm like spring football, yeah, it's the biggest tease and makes me want to throw devices sometimes because I want to see more football.
I want to see more football.
I want to see the county continue, competing against each other, but, we'll have to be held over by the spring games we did.
Yep, no doubt. All right, want to thank our sponsors, Archaic Design, Connect Sports Funding. Want to thank BlackRock Engineering and Technology. Also want to thank Zone 67V7 and athletic training camps starting up over the summer, and we'll put a post up about that coming up as well. So let's starting in 9 minutes is going to be the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. So why don't we jump to that real quick, guys, and let's get to that. What a Final Four Saturday it was in NCAA lacrosse, but I will say not without controversy. That is for sure. Jackson, you are our resident lacrosse expert on this one. Let's start with that first game of the afternoon, the Duke game, and how that thing ended, and just how bad I feel for all involved there, because to me, yeah, Duke won, but I just left feeling like so much more could have been done in terms of this instant replay thing with this foot in the crease. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. It goes to overtime at 15 between, a 5 seed in Penn State and then the number 1 overall team in Duke. And, yeah, I mean, as you said, it came down to controversy. The last goal of the game, the Duke player scores the goal. You look back at it, his foot, night and day, it's in the crease. It's not a close thing, but due to, I guess, conflicts with reviewing or what they were saying on the live broadcast, the refs just left as well. That was something else that not a lot of people realize, but the refs left the stadium and they couldn't review it. Penn State, I mean, if the goal doesn't stand, is it like, oh, that's the only reason Duke won? I don't know. They're a strong team. They're the number 1 overall seed, but in a way, Penn State definitely got slighted. They were running toe-to-toe with them the whole game as a 5 seed against a 1 seed. This was a game that it's still the Final Four, but Duke was the favorite. That was known. And Penn State ran toe-to-toe, took them to overtime. They were running hot, and that happens. It just leaves a bad taste in the mouth, and it puts lacrosse in a weird light for everybody to just see this is how a semifinal ends and how a team like Penn State gets robbed of a shot to the national championship.
Well, and let's be clear. I saw some people put up some posts that says, Penn State got robbed out of winning the Final Four. What they got robbed of was a possession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? So I want to be clear about this.
Yes.
Okay? There's no guarantees what would have happened on that possession. But what Penn State got robbed of was a possession. But nonetheless, and here's the thing to me, and there you see on your screen, here's the thing to me. Duke's 12th or 13th or 14th goal, whatever it was called no goal because of a foot in the crease. Go ahead, Gil.
And that's the thing. So you had that. Here are the rules when it comes for replay. In the regular season, there is no replay. There's no instant replay on anything. In the tournament, there is a special set of rules.
Okay, let's hear them.
Concerning clock. Replay is only to be used in clock matters. Did a player get a shot off before the clock expires?
Expired, right.
Shot clock, things like that. I have more of the NCAA. I have a bone to pick with
get
them.
it, but go ahead. Yeah.
If you're going to make special rules for the tournament to use instant replay, one of the things that you should be able to instant replay is a foot in the crease because that is a direct effect of the game.
Here's the rules as it states. Section 33, video replay at NCAA championships is permitted in the following cases. To correct the game clock and or shot clock when there is a malfunction or timing error. to review the release of a shot at the end of a period in relation to the expiration of time for the clock or the shot clock. To review if a shot at the end of a period is deflected off a defensive or offensive player before it enters the goal, and to review if a shot hits the camera mounted inside the goal cage. That's it. Why would you not have a foot in the crease?
I mean, it's something I'm passionate about. So, but you hear most of those hitting the camera. A lot of that doesn't matter. Today's day and age, it is 2023. We have cameras everywhere, and something as simple on the video board, if the entire stadium can see, look at the NBA, they had to review that last second tip in, we'll get to in a minute, but that doesn't, if you don't review that, then the Heat win and we're done already.
Right.
I mean, this is something that was detrimental to the national semifinal, to a goal that was not legal. Am I saying that Duke or Penn State got robbed? No, I say slighted for a reason.
Right. No, you're right.
But
that was a good word.
It wasn't fair, and because I mean, I've played on that side. I've seen refs miss that exact call. I get it's difficult. Lacrosse is a sport that is fast-moving. You need video replay in a sport that's constantly moving. And when it's a foot on a line, over a line, something like that has to be reviewed.
Half his foot was over the line.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and that's something in the heat of the moment. The refs are watching the goal. They're watching the defensive checks. You don't watch that. That's just something that gets past too often. The simple thing of video review, you just look at that, say, okay, boom, we missed that. No big deal. We move on. Everybody saw that. There wasn't one comment on the internet that said, oh, no, he was in the crease. It was night and day. Everyone knew it. One simple look at that by an official, and all of this is avoided. But because you go in here and only give review for certain little things that, you know, besides a buzzer-beating goal, don't really change the game as much as this did.
Right.
It just can't happen.
Well, and that's the thing is, you know, there were some people.
You might as well just say it. They're your idiots of the week.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily the refs, because again, the refs have so many things to
Yours
look at.
is the NCAA.
Yes.
Yours is the refs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And for me, because you can have human error in referees, but then if you're a business that helps support your refs, you have it with the instant replay to help them get the call right.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah, you're right. You guys are 100% right. But let's talk about Duke. It's an all 8. Well, let's talk about the other semifinal. Notre Dame had gone into that game against Virginia with 2 losses on the year. Both of them had come to Virginia. Not a lot of people gave them a chance to beat Virginia, but it's hard, Jackson, to beat a team 3 times in one season, and we saw that. How was Notre Dame able to get this done?
You know, this is a team that was number 1 for a long time this season. You play a team that you played a lot. All this ACC team, they have like the triangle of parity. I think Notre Dame's beat Duke twice, Duke's beat Virginia twice, and Virginia's beat Notre Dame twice. So these 3 teams have played. Now it'll be Duke in the national championship, but these 3 teams have played plenty of times this year. This one goes overtime as well, and I just think Notre Dame, they had that experience from playing this team. And, you know, when it came up clutch in overtime, it seemed like they knew what to do to beat this team this time around. They knew with the game on the line, their season on the line, they knew how to come out here, play like the number 1 team that they were at one point this season, and now go out and fight for their national championship hopes. I think the experience of playing this team, you get bested twice. Now you get your get back, per se, in the national semifinal. I just think Notre Dame was well prepared for this game. They did their research, and it was a tight game, but, you know, I just think
to me, the stunning part of this game was the comeback by Notre Dame late. They're down by 2 goals. There was no goaltending in the Final Four. And look, let me tell you, Notre Dame's got a pretty good goalie.
Yeah.
5th in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, when you get down to this level, it's funny to say, but goaltending kind of goes away. Should it? No, it's not like that's a rite of passage, but it just kind of does. But, you know, I mean, that's one situation. You're down by 2 late. You got to score those goals, and they do. I mean, that's when you take a role like that into overtime as well, you set yourself up for success. But, yeah, that's something I'll be looking for today in the national championship. See if a goalkeeper prevails and can be able to, you know, play consistent keeping. And I think
who you got?
I have Notre Dame. I'm going to be honest.
All right, Kayla, who you got?
I have Duke winning their 4th national championship in program history.
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing about me that will allow me to pick Duke. I know you feel the same way.
I want to say, I'm like, I looked at Jackson. Jackson, if looks could have killed me, Jackson would have killed me 3 times over. I don't want to, but just after what I saw, I felt a little bit of a lapse by Duke in that nationals. in that semifinal. I feel like they're going to bounce back and be a dominant Duke lacrosse team.
The one thing I'll say is, I mean, Duke is a very good team. I will stomach it and admit that. But the one thing...
Stomach it. Go ahead.
Duke was number one for plenty of the season, but the one team that beat them twice, it's hard to beat them 3 times, I know that, but Notre Dame was able to beat Duke, and they were able to do it fairly decisively. I remember back in a game in early April, they dropped 7 goals in one quarter on this Duke team, beat them 17-12, among other wins. I think this is the one team Duke has struggled with this season plenty of times with Notre Dame. I think they can beat them, but I just think Notre Dame is just someone that just continues to have their number.
Well, good luck, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish, I just can't cheer for Duke at any level. All of your lacrosse champs. For the men, this wraps up the lacrosse season today. It'll either be Duke or North Carolina, or Duke or Notre Dame. Sorry, Jackson. Duke or Notre Dame. D2 champ was Lenore Ryan. D3, the Seagulls of Salisbury, Maryland. Salisbury State University. The Seagulls win the D3 championship. On the women's side, it was Northwestern in D1, Pace in D2, and Middlebury in D3. Any final thoughts on the lacrosse season? I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was. I think we saw the ACC take over, and
they did.
We'll see how we'll see how the national championship plays out, as it should be facing off right about now.
How much is this sport continuing to grow?
Oh, I mean, I may slightly biasly think it's arguably the fastest growing sport in America, and seeing it at the high school level, college level, I mean, when I got into lacrosse last year, I didn't see anything in media. It was pretty much kind of find your information sparingly. Now the PLL has deals with ESPN. College lacrosse is getting, like, the whole thing with the
Do you like ESPN's coverage?
I haven't gotten to tune in much yet, but, I mean, we'll see how it goes. They've given, a documentary to the PLL so far, so
I do. I've enjoyed it. You've watched it. Do you like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel they're doing right. Again, it is the fastest growing sport. I would say.
Don't slight beach volleyball now, because it is. That is the fastest growing college sport, by the way. But go ahead.
All right.
Just saying. But I don't want the beach volleyball. I don't want Coach Bolton coming back on.
No. But I will definitely be watching the PLL over the summer. It'll be something that'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. Coming up this week, we have 2 broadcasts that I know of this week. We've got a soccer broadcast, and you and Matt Shelton, as the Brevard Soccer Club, Brevard SC, will host the Villages May 31st. That's Wednesday.
Yes.
Here on BSN. So Shelton and Caleb will be on the call for that. And then we're going up to Daytona to do the sponsor bowl with Fort Pierce Bengals. And so excited about that. Big race yesterday. The Indianapolis. Now I know this isn't Caleb's cup of tea, Caleb. So I'm gonna cut you off the screen, bud, because this just ain't your thing. Me and Jackson will handle the Indianapolis 500. So goodbye for now. Good race yesterday, Jackson. I thought it was an outstanding Indianapolis 500. Couple of scary crashes in the race yesterday, but nonetheless, Joseph Newgarden wins the Indy 500 on a spectacular last lap pass. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was a great race. I mean, start to finish, the racing was good all the way through, and then the obvious chaos at the end kind of upped the ante a little. I thought the finish was great. I think glad that everyone was okay, but the action was, fun to watch and really set up an entertaining finish to, the 107th running of the Indy 500. So, I thought it was a great race, and I thought it was a fitting way to start Memorial Day weekend.
Newgarden, a Nashville, Tennessee native, for some reason, I guess he must have changed his name to change the spelling of his first name to Josef to fit the F1 moniker. I have no idea why somebody born in Nashville spells the name Joseph, Josef. If you don't know anything about IndyCar and you look at that, you would think he was from Europe somewhere. But my favorite part about the race yesterday, aside from the fact that Ericsson was whining and crying at the end, was the way that Newgarden went into the crowd to celebrate. I've never seen. Obviously, there's the milk drinking and that tradition, but the way Newgarden went into the crowd yesterday, and listen here, folks. I saw a lot of people making comments yesterday on certain social media sites that said, listen, Newgarden, I think, is the 17 and 19 IndyCar Series champion, and that this was the one race that had eluded him. And there were some people yesterday, Jackson, comparing his win in the Indy 500 to Dale Earnhardt finally winning the Daytona 500. Cool your jets on that. All right. It took Dale Earnhardt 18 years to win the Daytona. This is no comparison. Newgarden winning the Indy 500 to Dale Earnhardt finally winning the Daytona 500. If you know anything about NASCAR and know anything about the way this guy lost a couple of Daytona 500s in the lead, flat tire on the last lap, from all of that to the lucky penny on the day, there's no comparison. Congratulations, Joseph Newgarden, but there's no comparison to Dale Earnhardt winning the Daytona 500. I just had to get that off my chest. Go ahead.
No, that's fair. Yeah, but I loved also the celebration of winning. I've watched motorsports the last few years, and it seems like some guys take it as just like it's a win. Newgarden showed emotion all the way through, goes and enjoys with the crowd. That was special. I've never seen or thought of that before, but that was special. And, he talked about in Victory Lane saying how people view you as a failure if you can't win this race. He said you can win championships, but you have to win the Indy 500. And the way that he did it was, he's
not all that wrong there.
No.
But I think failure is a strong word.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, but I think, it is monumental because you can compare it to NASCAR on the Daytona 500. NASCAR Daytona, that's a super speedway chaos. You get underdog winners all the time. Indy's a track, it's an oval. It is something that, that makes it sound simple. It's not, but it is an IndyCar race on an oval that if you get, a good lead, good pit adjustments, you can go out and win that race. And that was something that Joseph hadn't been able to do. And the way that he did it with one lap to go was incredible. And it flexed his muscles as a driver.
Have you ever been to Indy?
No, I have not.
I've not been to a race there, but I've seen the track. And when you walk inside and you look at it, first of all, there were 300,000 people there yesterday. In the infield alone, this is how big the infield is. And if you don't believe me, Google it, okay? The infield at Indy, you could house Yankee Stadium, the White House, Liberty Island, Vatican City, the Taj Mahal, the Roman Coliseum, the Rose Bowl, and Churchill Downs, and you could put them all comfortably inside of the infield of the Indy 500. That's how big this place is. Let me repeat that, okay? That would be Churchill Downs, the Rose Bowl, the Roman Coliseum, the White House, Liberty Island, the Taj Mahal, Vatican City, and Yankee Stadium. You can put them all of those venues comfortably on the infield of the Indy 500 and still have room to party it up. So, that's pretty impressive. I want to get to my idiot of the week, and my idiot of the week is Marcus Ericsson, who cried and whined about this final lap yesterday. Here's Marcus Ericsson in the press conference.
I think it was a tough way to end the race. I don't really agree with how we did that. I don't think that was a fair way to end the race, but I'm proud of our effort.
What about the end that you didn't like?
I think it was not enough laps to go to do what we did. I don't think it's safe to go out of the pits on cold tires straight to a restart when half the field is still sort of trying to get out on track when we go green. I don't think that's a fair way to end the race. I don't think it's the right way to end the race. So that's what's I don't agree with that. Yeah.
Have you talked to IndyCar, or do you plan to talk to IndyCar about it?
No. I mean, it is what it is. So you just have to deal with it. So I did everything I could. I think I did an awesome last restart. I caught Joseph by surprise and kept the lead into one, but it wasn't enough. So, yeah, it's for sure it's hard to swallow, yeah.
All right, so last year he wins this race, and that's on your screen as well. And I think more so to the fact that he's whining and crying about cold tires and there shouldn't be a one-lap restart. And I think he's crying more about the frustration of the fact that the same exact move he used to win this race last year cost him the race this year. And I think that's where his frustration is.
Yeah, I mean, but that's something you have to own. I think on the biggest stage, you've already won this race. It's not like you're the one that's been trying for 12 years. There wasn't one congratulations, Joseph. You know, I'll be honest, I'll say it straight up, he got outraced on that last lap.
Yes, he did.
He was driving back and forth trying to shake the draft. Newgarden just ran his line, took the lead cleanly,
Well
and
said.
just ran away with it. He got outdriven. That hurts at Indy, going for back-to-back for the first time in 20 years. I get that, but pointing out safety, nobody wrecked on the last lap. Nothing bad happened.
Everybody's tires were cold.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. But it's not like anyone got hurt. Nothing bad happened. It was a clean finish. It was a great finish. And to be honest, it's Indy. If they have any out, and this isn't attack or like a praise, but if they have any out, you're going to finish this race. You don't want to finish, arguably the biggest spectacle in motorsports under a caution. That's just not something, if you can avoid, it's not going to happen.
Right. And why would you like to see a green-white checker? Now, I think back in 2015 there was a race at Texas where Indy had a green-white checker. Would you like to see a green-white checker in Indy?
I think that's always the right thing to do. It's the same thing with football with no tying. I don't
Right.
think a race should ever end under caution because it was something they were discussing on the broadcast. The announcers were. You saw early in the race, whoever was leading, I think it was Award at the time, but he laid back on the restart. They took another lap around. They were saying on the broadcast, if you're Ericsson, you lay back, they take another lap, you win.
Right.
So he could have, I'm glad he didn't do that, but you see the problem there. That could do it there just like that. I mean, I just think it's simple as that. I think you can employ NASCAR's old rule before overtime where you get 3 tries and then it's done. So if it is just a wreck fest, then it is what it is. But I don't think races should be able to end under caution, especially not the Indianapolis 500.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's well stated, and it was a great race yesterday. And the thing that I liked more than anything yesterday was that horrible wreck at the end where the car flips upside down. Safety is. These cars are going 225 miles an hour, Jackson. That guy sliding upside down. Now, he didn't get hit, and the circumstances would have been far different had he got hit. And the fans certainly got lucky with the tire flying off of that car. Can you imagine that insurance claim? Because that hit another car in the parking lot. Can you imagine that insurance claim? Hi, Jake from State Farm. Yeah, I got an insurance claim for you. This is I just happened to be at this race on Sunday, and a tire came flying off of a car and hit mine. And what do we do here? Well, we'll just give you the pace car. How about that? But
Well, something I saw on social media after the race is they found the lady whose car got hit.
Right.
They took her out to the track, and there's a picture of her out there kissing the bricks. So
Really?
They took her out onto the track.
they better do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that was much more for show. Like, hey, look, we're
Probably,
we're trying to do right by everybody.
I get it. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I thought I heard a story that the winner broke his championship ring when kissing the bricks.
I don't know. I have no idea. But I have to look that up. But it could be. Who knows? All right, guys. Game 7 of the NBA Finals tonight, and I'll tell you what. You just know going into this thing that there's no way come hell or high water that the Miami Heat have any shot to win this. Tonight it tips off at the very early time of 8:30. After going down 0-3, the Celtics have rallied to win obviously 3 straight here, and they're looking to I guess do the same thing their fellow brethren Boston Red Sox did back in 2004 when they came back from 3-0 to the New York Yankees. No team in NBA history has ever come all the way back from a 3-0 deficit to win a series. 3 teams have come close: the 51 New York Knicks, the 1994 Denver Nuggets, the 0-3 Portland Trail Blazers, but all 3 of those teams lost in Game 7. The 51 Knicks lost to the Rochester Royals. The 94 Nuggets lost to Malone and Stockton. And the 2003 Trail Blazers went down 3-0 against Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and the Dallas Mavs in the first round. But Zach Randolph was able to carry the team back into the series and blew them out in the end. So This is also the first time since the 94-95 season that the same two teams, are meeting in a 7-game series in back-to-back seasons. The last time that happened was 94-95 when the Pacers and the Knicks met in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, in fact, it's been so long since this has happened. The last time it happened, the Orlando Magic went to the NBA Finals that year against the Houston Rockets and were beaten. But listen, I know that Miami has no chance to win this game tonight, or so they say. But I really think that as an 8 seed, first of all, let's be clear. I don't care if you're an 8, 10, 12, 14 seed. You will, if you lose tonight, you're forever going to be known as the only team in the history of the NBA to blow a 3-0 lead. Okay? That's you. You're going to have to own that. But if they can somehow win, what a remarkable thing that would be. Not just for the Miami Heat, but for the NBA and for South Florida. And we'll talk about the other aspect of that coming up. Do the Miami Heat, Jackson, have a chance to win this game tonight? Can they win this game tonight?
I definitely think it's possible. I think this series the games have been close. For them, it's got to be, you're an 8 seed. Forget all the narratives. In your head, you have to tell yourself you have nothing to lose. This is our time. But they have to go and play, because now what you could view this as is this whole time they've been trying to put away this series. The pressure's been on Miami. Boston's just going out, we got to win all these games. Let's just keep winning. Now that pressure shifts to Boston to finish. Miami's now, they still definitely have pressure, but it's not all on them to finish. This is the one thing they can play to. They can play their game. Jimmy Butler this playoffs has been playing, just seemed like, all right.
Mr. May.
Yeah. He's just going out here and playing his game. This team is going out here playing their game. The last game I saw to them, nerves were setting in. Duncan Robinson missing 2 wide-open three-pointers. That's not a lack of talent.
And that second three he took was a horrible shot selection.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And you guys, I think the Heat were in that game, and that one was winnable. You don't get in your own head. If the Heat just play their game, it is definitely doable. The problem is now you're back in TD Gardens. Yes, the odds are more than stacked against you, but you won 3 games. You went 2-0 to start the series in Boston, so that's not really an excuse. Now, you just got to go harken back to that. It's in them. I think the Heat can do it. We'll see.
So who you got tonight?
I have the Celtics. But, yeah, that's just what I've been saying all along. If this one went 7 in Boston, the Celtics
would win.
But I think it'll be close. I think it'll be within 5 points.
That's the thing. Stop right there. The Celtics in these NBA playoffs, Saturday night was the first game that they have won in this entire playoffs where the game was within 5 points. Every time the Celtics have won has been by more than 5 points. They have not won the close ones. So I think that's the first thing the Heat need to do, is to get this thing close. Go ahead.
The Heat need their role players to step up again. They need the guys, Kyle Lowry coming off the bench.
You need the undrafted guys.
Right. Because, look, typically in Game 7s, you would look at the Boston Celtics because they have more established stars stepping up for them. But the Heat's game plan has always been Jimmy Butler and then 2 or 3 guys stepping up and helping him. Whether it be a Bam Adebayo, a Kyle Lowry. They need all hands on deck tonight, and they need 4 or 5 guys to step up tonight between off the bench and in that starting 5.
Butler's averaging 24 points. Caleb Martin, 18. Bam Adebayo, 15. Gabe Vincent, 17. Duncan Robinson, nearly 12 points a game. For the Celtics, Tatum averaging 27. Brown, 19. Marcus Stewart, 13. Derek White, nearly 14 points a game. I say I like the Miami Heat to win tonight. And I like the Heat to win this game because I heard the press conference by Jimmy Butler following that game. And by the way, I sat in this very chair, and I looked in that camera a month ago, and I said that, to me, Jimmy Butler has become what to the month of May in the NBA. Now, he's got to win an NBA championship to really pick up this moniker. But he has become, to me, what Reggie Jackson was in the month of October. Jimmy Butler's Mr. May. This guy scores the final 10 points the other night. How he does it. I mean, he hits what does he go 6 for 6 at the free throw line in the final 3 minutes. I mean, he was incredible. He hits those 3 free throws to give them a lead. You know, Miami's biggest issue was the fact they just didn't block out Derek White.
And I'll say this. The way the rebound came off that shot, I believe I was hearing on the radio, if you gave someone 30 attempts to shoot that three-pointer and tell me where that rebound was going, very rarely would it have ever gone to that exact spot.
Well, know, all I'm going to say is about that play is that's what I'll say my angel of the week is Derek White and Joe Mazzulla for 2 different reasons. Derek White, first of all, now you're a national Boston hero. Congratulations. But for Joe Mazzulla, you got to go back and watch that play and look at it in this light. That three-pointer was never meant to go. Or it was. Obviously, you want it to go. But watch Jason Tatum and Derek White run straight in. They have both sides covered. That play was drawn up perfectly by Joe Mazzulla so that if that shot missed, three-pointer goes, obviously you win the game on that. Fantastic. But the way that play was drawn up was perfect because they have both sides covered. The Heat, I mean, I think they just thought, oh, if he misses, game over. There was no boxing out. You're right. But you go right down there. Both of them had both sides of that basket covered. The play was drawn up perfectly. They weren't worried if the three-pointer missed. They were ready to rebound and put it right back up, which they did with, the time that was left. I think that was perfectly drawn up. And, wherever that rebound landed, I think they were going to be there.
You mentioned Joe Mazzulla. If they got swept or lost in 5, he was fired. To ask Joe Mazzulla to come in and do what he has done this year following Udoka's year-long suspension right before the start of the season, by the way, was a very difficult thing to do with this team. Win or lose tonight, is Mazzulla the coach of this team next year, in your opinion, guys?
Yeah, I think he has to be. He's come in, brought this team still to power, and now they're forcing a Game 7. I think you got to stick with it.
100%. I mean, he made adjustments necessary to help bring this team back.
And the one final note I'll say on this, and I hate doing this because I never like doing this, but the officiating needs to be even tonight, because I think the other night, in my opinion, as a neutral fan, because I'm just watching for the fun of the game. The officiating wasn't good. I think Boston got lucky at the end of the game there.
That was a horrible call on Butler.
Yeah, but I think
It wasn't a foul. I didn't think it was a foul.
Well, there's that too, but then if you're going to call the foul, where did 3 seconds come
You
from?
can't listen. I don't like the fact that you can lean in. They don't call this in. Calvin Wright would have never called that a foul. You
Nope.
can't lean in to a guy like that and draw for 3 free throws. That's a terrible call.
Well, there's
I'm
that.
sorry. There was contact, yes. But who in the hell shoots a basketball like that?
Well, no, there's that. That's definitely a point. But then, again, if you're going to call the foul, there's still been no explanation I could ever find where 3 seconds came from at all.
Yeah.
The only contact was made
That's a good
at
point.
most 2.6 seconds to go. You can watch it. I've watched whatever replays, deep dive into this. There's an investigation going on one of the officials for having a burner account. in
Burner
favor
Twitter
of the
account.
Celtics.
Right.
This series, the final game, I don't care if it's bad both ways. Just make this fair. Keep the officials out of this game. Let them play basketball.
There have been 147 Game 7s in the NBA.
Right.
The home team is 111-36.
Yeah, they won a lot of them. So a lot, and listen, back to your point on the officials, the NBA, in a lot of respects, still has a very big scar across their forehead from one Timothy Francis Donaghy, the referee that was considered one of the best officials in the NBA, and then involved in that huge betting scandal back in 2007. There's a great documentary on Netflix about Donaghy, and how he got involved with all of that. But you can't have any discrepancies whatsoever. I get it. We're 15, 16, 17 years past that, but there are people that still remember that as if it happened yesterday. So you can't take any chances.
That's what I was saying. The biggest games, the officials need to officiate. They don't need to insert themselves into this game. They know the rules. These are veteran officials. Let them play the game. The game will play for itself. The end of the game calls you have to make with the rules in mind. There can't be any mysterious. I mean, it has to be a Game 7 that the players play to win.
Whether it's Miami or Boston, does anybody beat the Denver Nuggets in the finals, guys? On the screen right now, the Nuggets are 15-3 in the playoffs, 116 points a game. They're averaging. They're giving up 108. The Joker's averaging 30 points a game, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. What's new, right? A triple-double for the non-MVP winner. You look on your screen there are the Nuggets' leading playoff leaders. Jamal Murray right there behind Jokic with 27, 28 points a game. Michael Porter Jr. at 15 a game. Aaron Gordon at 13 a game. You can see the information on the screen there. But does anybody beat the Nuggets, whether it's the Celtics or the Heat? And if so, how do they get it done?
I don't think it's going to happen. For my one thing, and I keep looking at this team and how their coaches are talking about it, this team's, as a 1 seed, is the underdog. Nobody's talking.
Yep.
They're still talking about the Lakers. This team is flying under the radar the entire playoffs. They beat the Suns, who were my Western Conference pick. That was a hot team. They rolled straight over the Timberwolves, swept the Lakers. This team, nobody's even talking about, and they're just doing their thing. This team, I don't even think the Heat or the Celtics are even, they're just worried about this series. First of all, Game 7, Nuggets have had like 2 weeks off to go prep for whoever they got to play. The Heat or the Celtics have to turn around, go out to Denver in a day or two, Mile High. They're not, like, the Nuggets are ready. They got the narrative. They're not being talked about. The Celtics, they have talent. I don't think they can do it. The only thing maybe if the Heat swept the Celtics and they were on still their Cinderella high, that they maybe could have done it. But now that they've cooled off, I think the Nuggets are in a prime position to just go out and clean this up in quick work.
I actually screwed the graphic up. They're 12-3 in 15 games. Caleb?
I still think the Heat have the ability to go out, and it's because of Spoelstra. Alan, you made a comment earlier in the series of how Spoelstra was a genius in the way he was drawing up.
He looked so good the last 3.
Right. But I think defensively, if there's anyone you would trust out of the East to go up against this Denver Nuggets team, it would be Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's – listen, I think it's finally time to give the Nuggets their due. You know, they were first in the West. All year people's been looking, you know, here come the Lakers. You know, AD and LeBron are playing. I mean, they swept them. They swept them, okay? You know, maybe if they had caught the Lakers, I don't know. No way the Nuggets. Look, they blew out Minnesota 4-1. They beat Phoenix in 6, right? They sweep the Lakers. They're going to be arrested. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't win Game 1. Okay, just because of the layoff and the rest. That rust is important this time of the year, and it does build up. We're going to talk about that coming up with the Florida Panthers in a minute, but I don't think there's anybody that's going to beat this team. Michael Malone's going to have these guys ready to go. If they lose any game in this series, to me, you know, maybe they lose Game 1 at home, then it could get interesting whether it's the Celtics or the Heat, because then you kind of take home court a little bit. I think it's the Nuggets in 6 in the NBA Finals, whomever it is, whether it's the Heat or whether it's the Celtics. And let me just say this, going back to the Game 7 tonight, I think the thing that made Game 6 between Miami and Boston so special was the fact that it felt like an NCAA tournament game. You know, listen, the Celtics are the first team to hit a tip-in at the buzzer or hit a shot at the buzzer to win and stave off elimination since Michael Jordan beat Craig Elo in the playoffs. That's the last and only other time that's ever been done. for a team to win at the buzzer was Michael Jordan beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, okay? So that made it feel like, to me, an NCAA tournament game. We love March Madness. We love the way that the competition in those games, it's win or go home, right? That's what that was, in those final seconds. And so that's why I think it captivated so many people. You were going to say?
I was just going to say, when you said about the last time it was done with Michael Jordan, I was just saying that was part of the my Angel of the Week with Derek White, putting yourself up there next to, the greatest of all time. So, but yeah, just this is the winner go home for both of them. So I think this one will be a very good game. That's why I think it'll be close. But yeah, I mean, this has been a interesting playoffs for sure, and it'll be interesting to see how it finishes out.
1989, Jordan with the. Remember seeing that? If you haven't, it's go check it out. But that's the last time that happened, guys. All right, so we did mention that there was one Florida team, guys, that did get it done, and boy, what a run this team is currently on. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers, who have just absolutely run roughshod, and I mean roughshod, over the Eastern Conference. An 8 seed, what a job they have done. They await the winner of Dallas and Vegas, and Vegas is in the process of conducting their own choke at the moment. They were up 3-0, and the Stars have come back to win games 4 and 5, and now have game 6 back home in Dallas. So that will be interesting tonight. But the Florida Panthers, my Angel of the Week, outside of Beth Scarborough, is Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk is factored in on a game-winning goal 8 times this postseason. The only players in NHL history to do so more times in a playoff year are Brad Richards, Wayne Gretzky, Jonathan Toews, Jerome McGillivray, and Mario Lemieux. Pretty good company to be amongst there. How good has Bob been? Well, if you don't know who Bob is, that is Panther goalie Sergei Bobrovsky. He became the third goaltender in the last 25 years with multiple 5-game winning streaks during a single postseason. He joins Marc-Andre Fleury and Jean-Sebastien Giguère. Listen, the way this team has won these games has just been absolutely improbable. You go back to Game 7, the third period, 59 seconds to play against the Boston Bruins. They trail 3-2. Forget the fact that they trailed in that series 3-1 to force a Game 7. They're losing the hockey game 3-2 against the greatest regular season team in the history of the National Hockey League. And when you're talking about the history of the National Hockey League, you're not talking about something that was developed 25 years ago. This is a sport with over 100-year tradition, and the Boston Bruins were the best regular season team, point-wise anyway, in that storied tradition. There's handshake line number 1. In overtime, bam, Carter Verhaeghe, it's over. Bruins fans thought they would be celebrating with the Bruins, but it looks like it's going to be the Celtics. Then they go play the Maple Leafs, who, well, let's face it, won a playoff series for the first time since Jesus was a baby, right? And Florida runs roughshod over them, right? Knocks them out in 5 games. And then it's the second best team in the Eastern Conference in the Carolina Hurricanes. And, guess what? They beat them in 4 straight. The turning point in this entire series was Game 1. And that was the 4-overtime thriller. Tkachuk gets the winner in Game 1 in overtime. He gets the winner in Game 2 in overtime. And you're going to see the series clincher with 3 seconds to play in Game 4 coming up. One of the best shots in the history of the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoff. Patient shot. He waits. The Carolina goalie commits. Tkachuk shoots. There, scores. There it is. Mm-hmm. And handshake line number 3. Listen, I don't know if Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup. They're going to be underdogs, whether it's Vegas or Dallas that comes out of that series anyway. But let me say this. I've never seen anything like this, and I have a pretty storied tradition of following this sport. I've been following this sport since I was 8 years old. I've played this sport. I love this sport. I've never seen anything like this.
You know, in my short term now of following hockey pretty seriously, the last 3-4 years, this has just been so fun to watch. And when you look forward, regardless whether it's Vegas or Dallas, I personally don't see anything that either those teams do that makes me think that Florida can't win the Stanley Cup. Because, I mean, if you think about how they've made it to this point,
right,
it almost seems like this Florida team is a team of destiny.
Panthers become just the third team in NHL history to eliminate 3 of the league's top 4 teams in the same postseason. The third team in the NHL's modern era, which is considered since 43-44. Think of that. The NHL's modern era is 43-44, 1943-44. The NFL's modern era is 1970. Okay, just saying. NHL's modern era to win 3 or more series after entering as the lowest ranked team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, all after spending only 28% of their season in the playoffs. This will be the first time in 27 years that the Panthers have reached the Stanley Cup final. Their only other trip came in 1996. I tell you what, it's just been an incredible run. And a lot of people would say, well, I've been asked this question. Well, how did they get this done? Well, they were able to get this done. Let's not forget this. Yeah, they were an 8 seed, but this was not a bad hockey team. This was the best hockey team in the NHL last year. They won the President's Cup trophy. Now, a lot of times that President's Cup trophy is a curse. Teams that win it don't fare well in the playoffs. The Panthers were that team last year. They fire their coach. They bring in Paul Maurice. It took half to 3/4 of a season for this team to finally come together under Maurice's system. But listen, once they have, this is the end result. And like Alex Sosa we were talking about earlier, right? They're late blooming here. Yep. They're only going to be getting better coming up. So I like their chances against either Dallas or Vegas. And it would be really nice to see the Miami Heat win tonight because for the first time, you'd have 2 8 seeds from a city playing in their respective leagues' finals. And, gentlemen, don't make the mistake. It's the NBA Finals with an S and the Stanley Cup Final. If you're a hockey fan, there's a tremendous difference, okay? It's a little quirky thing, but just know it's not the Stanley Cup Finals. It is the Stanley Cup Final.
I just know, given how much time I spend here in the studio, I'm probably going to get corrected on that a lot.
Yeah, well, especially from a hockey purist, right? So go Panthers, go Panthers.
So now, regardless of what the result is, the Stanley Cup Final is scheduled to start Saturday, June 30th in either...
it's not going to start June 30th.
Not 30th, June 3rd.
Right. That should be a long wait.
Yeah, no. Saturday, June 3rd. Vegas or Dallas would host the first 2. And then we would get Thursday, June 8th and June 10th. Florida would host the games 3 and 4.
Yep. All right, guys, let's jump over to Major League Baseball here. We'll run a little long today. What time's your practice tonight?
6 o'clock.
Oh, you're good. Let's jump over to Major League Baseball. Memorial Day and Major League Baseball run hand in hand. But for some reason, 6 teams aren't playing today, and I can't figure it out why. The Orioles right now and the Indians in the top of the 3rd, no score there. Detroit 1-0 over Texas. Well, I tell you guys, it has definitely been an interesting start to the Major League Baseball season. So much so that I begged DirecTV the other day for the, they have the NFL Sunday ticket. I wanted the MLB extra innings. and I basically had to negotiate my way through about a 45-minute phone call. But I get to watch my Orioles every night, and there I'm extremely happy. But I can tell you that I'm just thrilled at what I see from baseball. I love the pitch clock rule. The bigger baseball, I think we're seeing more stolen bases. We're seeing, yesterday I watched the Orioles and the Rangers play in a 2.5-hour game, 2-hour, 20-minute game. Beautiful 3-2 game. Even a game the night before between the Orioles and the Rangers, it was a 5-3 contest won by Texas that had a lot of hits in it, a couple of extended innings, about 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So I love being able to sit there and know that I can sit down and watch a baseball game, and it's going to be over under 3 hours. You guys, are you watching any baseball, first of all? I know you're not, but are you?
Yes. Oh, yes. I watched maybe not defensively great game, but a game between the Yankees and the Padres in which we saw the Padres get a little league home run after a errant throw to the catcher, and then the catcher tried to catch the runner going to third, overthrows the third baseman.
It is time for This Week in Baseball. Here we'll start with the senior circuit. Now you're going to hear a little music in the background, but you should still be able to hear me. Here are your National League standings here on your screen. We'll start. The Braves lead the East, the Brewers in the Central, the Dodgers out West. Right now, Braves are 5-5 in their last 10. The hottest team right now in all of the National League is the San Francisco Giants, who are 7-3 in their last 10. And you look at the overall league leaders will be coming up here, the stats, if you will. And to me, the young man Ariz from Miami, Luis Ariz, leads all of Major League Baseball batting 376. I didn't think he would stay up around 400, but 376 is not too bad either. Freddie Freeman, Elias Diaz, Ronald Acuna Jr. with a big bounce-back season. How about Pete Alonso, 20 home runs and 40 RBIs this year for the New York Mets. Pete Alonso having him a year. On the pitching side of this equation, the Pirates, Mitch Keller, Zach Gallen from Arizona, Justin Steele from the Cubs, Merrill Kelly, and Clayton Kershaw, all with 6 wins. Bryce Elder from the Braves with a 2.01 ERA, and Camilo Duvall from the Giants with 14 saves. Your strikeout leader, Spencer Strider from the Braves. Now, listen, I think one of the things that, when you look at team leaders right now in the National League, surprisingly, it is the Washington Nationals leading the way, batting 266. But there you see the Braves down there at 260. The Braves, the best pitching team in the National League at the moment. And I think that when you combined the way they hit the ball, the way they pitch the ball, team ERA at 3.67. A lot of people like the Dodgers. The Dodgers are, you look at in terms of complete standings in Major League Baseball. But for me right now, and we're going to get to our Elite Eights, I would say that I like the Braves, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, kind of in that order in the National League. You guys can chime in.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, the Braves and Diamondbacks kind of following each other there.
I like the Braves and the Dodgers most out of the National League so far, but Diamondbacks looking pretty good, and Giants on the climb, could be popping their head up soon.
Anybody surprising you over in the National League? Anything surprising you in terms of what you've seen thus far? And I'm going to challenge the both of you. I think the year that Ronald Acuna Jr., I think I saw the other day, he's got a chance to become the first 40-40-60 guy, which would be awfully impressive. I love the year Ronald Acuna Jr. is having. But for me, I think when you look at surprises, I think the National League Central, listen, the Cardinals, after that horrific start, and they're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 24-31. The Brewers, they just don't get it. An opportunity to bury this team early, and the Cardinals still only sit 5 games out. I mean, the Cubs are 22-30 and are just 5.5 games out of first place. Nobody can seem to pull away in the Central. You look at the West, you got the Dodgers on top with the Diamondbacks right there. But Arizona's 5-3 against LA this year. I think that's important to note. And then you look at the Braves and what they've done. They got the biggest run differential in the National League this year, plus 62. I like, obviously I like the Braves there, but anything surprise you there? It surprises, that tells you how bad the Nationals pitching is, though, by the way. They're 23-30. They lead the National League in hitting, but they've won 23 out of 53 games, 53 games. Jackson, anything surprise you?
I mostly underperforming teams like the Padres and the Mets. I expected to be at the top of the National League. They both sit pedestrianly way off the lead of their division. So that's mostly for me, more than anyone jumping out as surprisingly good, more than surprisingly bad.
Anything surprise you, Caleb?
The Dodgers remaining on top with some of the small slumps that we've had out of some of their superstars.
They're not hitting the ball well.
Right. And that's not what you expect out of the Dodgers.
Right.
When you think of the Dodgers, you think of the guys, like the Xander Bogaerts who are, normally crushing it.
Yeah.
And they are not hitting the ball as well as even remotely close to what we thought they would be.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the National League right now in terms of teams and what they're batting, and you look at the Dodgers, and they're 13th out of 15th in the National League. The batting just .239 as a team, so that's a very good point. They're just not hitting the baseball all that well. In fact, they've got an OBP of 328 and an OPS. Now, their OPS is up there because their slugging is so high. I think they're near the top of the National League. They're second in slugging, I think, at 455. So they got a 783 OPS.
They're third in Major League Baseball in home runs with 84.
And there you go. And so that makes sense right there.
But that ERA of theirs concerns me. Currently, their team ERA is a 4.37.
Yeah, that's not a long haul type of a thing there. No, you're right. And I'll tell you another thing too. The Braves this year, 19 home runs of 440 feet or further. That's 8 more than the next closest team. So they're knocking the hell out of the baseball this year. So that's the National League. Let's get to the American League, and not a moment too soon as far as I'm concerned. Dun, dun. One of the greatest songs in the history of sports is that Major League Baseball theme. There you see the Rays still sitting on top, but they can't pull away from my Orioles as they lead the Birds by 4, the Yanks by 7. The Twins on top with Detroit and Cleveland. 6 games. That's a terrible division. 27-26 in the Central. Texas. I tell you what, I got a chance to watch the Rangers very closely this weekend. That's a damn good baseball team. And if you probably would think I would be crazy to tell you if anybody told you at the start of the season that the best baseball team in Texas would be in Arlington, Dallas area, and not Houston. You would say, get him off of sports talk. But it is. Texas is the best baseball team. The Texas Rangers are the best baseball team in the Lone Star State at the moment. I really like the way they can hit the ball. Their pitching is a little bit suspect to me, but, again, it seems to be a trend. But the Rays, guys, the Rays just, listen, everybody wants to say the Rays are going to be falling off of this perch.
Still waiting.
Still waiting for the Rays to fall down.
I mean, look, right now they have a team batting average of 271, which I believe is tied for first, if not still sitting at first.
Yep.
They have 101 home runs. That's number 1 in Major League Baseball.
Yep. Not by a little either.
No. They are 4th in ERA as a team with a 3.67 ERA.
They can pitch.
And, I mean,
they're 26-6 at home. okay, which is incredible. 13-10 on the road. They got a 100 plus 120 run differential. And oh, by the way, the Astros are 8-2 in their last 10, but the Rays are 7-3. You just can't catch them on a bad day. Now the Blue Jays did.
The Rays have 72 stolen bases once again, number 1 in Major League Baseball.
There you go. So they're playing a little small ball and power ball, but the Blue Jays beat the hell out of them. Put 20 on them. But Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this. My mama said. Jackson, what do you like so far about what's going on in the American League?
You know, the AL East is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
They have 4 teams in my Elite 8, and that's 4 out of 5, and that 5th one isn't bad either. So that entire AL East is
All over 500.
Yeah, and then you go look at the Central.
It's terrible.
But I think, the AL's very strong compared to the National League this year. Teams like the Rays, Orioles, Yankees, Red Sox, Rangers, Astros, all very good teams. Mariners solid. Angels still disappointing, but doing better than usual.
How about those Oakland Athletics, though, huh? Boy, they're good, aren't they?
They weigh it down a little bit.
Look, how bad are the A's? The A's lost their 45th game of the season yesterday. They have the most losses prior to June in the history of Major League Baseball. We were talking about hockey having a pretty storied history. Well, baseball is not far behind that, all right? Most losses prior to June 1st in MLB history. Interestingly enough, they got a 4-game lead here. The Marlins were 14-41 in 2013, and the 96 I'm surprised my Orioles ain't on there. But the 96 Tigers were 13-41. And oh, by the way, they still have 3 games left to play in May. They could conceivably go 10-48 by the month. I mean, that's just terrible.
They've lost 11 straight, minus 199 run differential.
Jesus.
24 and a half games back in the West. These stats don't really look real, but I guess they definitely are.
Is there anything that surprises you? We talked about surprises in the National League. Is there anything that surprises you? To me, please allow me to start this portion of the American League conversation. No. Right. Obviously, the Orioles and listen, the Orioles got brought back down to earth a little bit this weekend. They hosted Texas. Texas, that is an outstanding hitting baseball team. I mean, Corey Seager and company, man, they can hit the ball all over the ballpark. I mean, they are damn good. I was actually shocked at how good the Rangers were at the plate. Again, we'll see if their pitching can hold up. But, man, they got bats for days in this lineup. And it was impressive to see them come into Camden Yards. Because that is no longer a place that's easy to hit. They have changed the dimensions in that ballpark, especially down the left field line. But, I mean, you look at the Texas Rangers, Adolis Garcia, their right fielder, is a beast of an outfit. He's just a beast of a player. Great player. They were a lot of fun to watch. But the Rangers and the Orioles, and obviously with the Orioles, their pitching is up and down this season. But the Orioles have the best bullpen in Major League Baseball right now. Their closer is phenomenal. Their setup guy is phenomenal. And I think that's the thing that has really saved the Orioles. They can hit the ball too, Adley Rutschman and company. But the thing that has saved this team and kept this team in the hunt is that bullpen. Because honestly, the starting pitching, Grayson Rodriguez, who has had 5 starts, I should say. 2 of those starts, he was our top pick a couple of years ago, 11th overall in the draft. 2 of his starts, he gave up 2 runs or less. The other 2, 5 runs or more. The Orioles optioned him back to AAA after he gave up 8 runs to the Rangers in the 3rd inning the other night. So Rodriguez goes back. But the starting pitching has gone, Dean Cain has looked really good. Dean Kramer's looked good. Kyle Gibson, Kyle Bradish looked good yesterday for the Orioles. But it is this bullpen, and you look at Felix Bautista and Yanier Cano and what those guys are doing coming out of the bullpen. And that's the thing that has got the Orioles 4 games behind. Rutschman, Mountcastle, Frazier, Mateo. I'm telling you right now, one of the best players in Major League Baseball is Cedric Mullins, hands down. Love the way Cedric hit for the cycle about a week and a half ago. But I just love the way the Orioles are playing. And the question that gets presented to me is, are they there for the long haul? And I will say this. The Orioles are there until the trading deadline. Now, I think they need to go out and get a top-notch starter at the trading deadline. I don't think they need to do anything with this lineup.
No.
Okay? They've got the prospects to trade if they need to go out and get a frontline starter. They don't need to do anything with the bullpen. They could use another arm or two. And if they can go get that, the Baltimore Orioles will have a shot to not only make the playoffs, but they will have a shot to be a World Series contender. I'm calling my shot now.
100%. To your comment about the Rangers, they're my big surprise. Right now, they currently have 6 batters in their lineup that are all hitting 280 and above. Mm-hmm. Of course, Corey.
Oh, they can hit.
Corey Seager's hitting 329 right now. Tavares is hitting 309. Duran is hitting 301. Max Simeon.
Yep.
Simeon.
Got it, Simeon.
Hitting 298 with 43 RBIs. I mean, the Rangers are my biggest surprise of how well. I thought they would be good, but nothing like jump off the page good like they have been.
No, I agree. I agree with you. All right. So with all of that said, our Elite Eight. Caleb, we'll start with you. On the screen right now is your Elite Eight. You got the Rays 1, the Rangers 2, the Orioles 3, the Dodgers 4, the Astros 5, the Yankees 6, the Braves 7, the Diamondbacks 8.
Correct.
Okay. Jackson, your Elite Eight is, you've got the Rays 1, the Orioles 2, thank you, the Dodgers 3, the Rangers 4, the Braves 5, the Yankees 6, the Astros 7, and the Red Sox 8. Mine really differs a lot from you guys. I've got the Rays 1, the Rangers 2, the Astros 3. I've got the Orioles 4, the Braves 5, the Yankees 6, the Dodgers 7, and the Diamondbacks 8. I still think because we're giving all of this love to Texas, don't forget about the Houston Astros because Texas is also like the Orioles, and they too are going to need to go get a frontline starter if they want to hold off Houston. I don't know that the Texas Rangers are going to hit the ball like this all year, but I know they definitely need another arm if they got any shot at all at holding off the Rangers. So final thoughts on baseball. We're not quite done with baseball yet because there's another issue I want to talk about here before we move on to the NFL. But final thoughts on baseball, guys.
The one thing I was going to say is it's on the graphic, but I switched it late last night, early this morning. I put the Dodgers to 5, Braves to 3.
Gotcha, okay.
I sent you that. I switched it up in my head.
My bad.
No, you're good. But that's it for me. My biggest gripe for Texas is, the only thing I have with them, they're winning games. They're hitting very well, but they do have the tied for 29th best strength of schedule. So I have a little gripe with that because you got to be playing teams. And just a fun fact, they are the last team that the Oakland Athletics beat this season.
Well, you're right. Well, and I agree with you, and that's why I had to be sold, and I was this weekend when they came into Camden Yards and took 2 out of 3 for the Orioles. So they sold me this weekend. Guys, a couple of weeks ago, Pat Williams, the 81-year-old Pat Williams, unveiled the Orlando Dreamers whatever it is. Rendering of a new ballpark that would be built over in Kissimmee, over in that area there. And the Orlando Dreamers, which is something that was established by Williams and a group looking to bring Major League Baseball to Orlando back in 2019. Your thoughts? Would you support the Orlando Dreamers? Will Orlando get a professional baseball team? This was something we were going to talk about on the show we were going to do a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's important to talk about it. Would you support Major League Baseball in Orlando?
Yes. baseball has been one of those, I had fond memories going when the Manatees were in town. When Brevard County, the Manatees, I had many memories going with my grandfather. And I've had very few opportunities to go to Major League Baseball. But some of my greatest memories, I had the fortunate opportunity to go to Fenway Park. And there's just something about going to a Major League Baseball stadium and being able to enjoy yourself there. I would love to, Alan, we're going to have some downtime here during the summer. It'd be nice to have, hey, you know what, Alan, let's you and I head on over to Orlando and catch a Dreamers game.
Yeah, I definitely would do that. Listen, I think it's a little far-fetched for Orlando. I think the only way the city first of all, Major League Baseball, before they do anything, they've got to resolve the A's situation.
Yep.
Looks like the A's are headed to Vegas, and if the A's don't go, Major League Baseball wants to expand. Okay, the perfect scenario would be for the A's to move to Vegas. Okay, what do they want to expand by? Well, they got 30 teams, right? They want to expand by 2, I think. They want to get to 32. They want to bring in 2 cities. So the perfect scenario would be for the A's to move to Vegas and Major League Baseball still to be able to grant 2 expansion cities. But what should those 2 expansion cities be? Portland is a hot market. Nashville. Charlotte, another hot. New Orleans, San Antonio. They've talked about Mexico City. As we said, Orlando. But for me, I think the only way expansion happens for Major League Baseball in this state. Let me take that back. Expansion won't happen in this state. MLB's not going to grant Florida an expansion team. The only way for Orlando to get a team is if the Rays move, in my opinion.
100%. Because, again, you look at some of the other, towns and locations. Nashville would be a fantastic place to put a Major League Baseball expansion team. San Antonio, the state of Texas is big enough to hold.
I think you need to go. I think you need a team in the upper, up there with Seattle. So I think Portland's
absolutely.
Charlotte has supported,
That's what I was gonna say.
AAA baseball for years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to minor league games up there. People of Charlotte want a baseball team. I know that. My problem is, I think Orlando needs some more teams, and I think they deserve it. But as of right now, there's definitely bigger markets out there, and I think that the MLB would look beyond Orlando to start.
I agree. I think if they can't get this issue resolved in Tampa, then put them in that beautiful new Dreamers Park. But Portland, Nashville, Charlotte, all of those cities are going to be looked at before Orlando.
100%.
But I will say this. Orlando has an advantage over all of these cities in that they've got the availability to build this state. They can build this stadium. And that's huge. No other city has these plans in place right now. No other city.
The other thing is like Orlando has an NBA team, XFL team. They have the Orlando Solar Bears hockey. There's really no baseball period in Orlando. So there's an opening there as well as there's no competition.
There's only 11 minor league teams in the state of Florida. 11 minor league baseball teams.
Really?
Yeah, just 11. 11 minor league teams in the state. And the closest to our area is down in Jupiter. Jupiter, you can go to Daytona with the Tortugas, which is 90 miles away. But, 11 minor league teams in the state of Florida. That's it. But I would love, me personally, I heard people bitching about the traffic. You know what? Shut up. Because if you've ever been to a professional sporting event, traffic's a part of the deal. Leave early.
That's what you sign up for. You sign up to go sit in traffic, to go tailgate.
Right. I don't want to hear, can you imagine what the traffic nightmare would be?
I mean,
I can, and I don't care.
I mean, there's teams in Atlanta. Or whoever the worst traffic in the country. So I think Orlando is not the biggest gripe there.
I mean, listen, Orlando traffic's already bad when it comes to the theme parks, okay? So, I don't want to hear bitching about traffic.
I mean, you complain about Orlando theme park traffic when we're going over to do something on I-4. But, listen, part of the experience of going to a sporting event is sitting in traffic. I'll use the expression again. I've been doing it. People have been doing it since Jesus was a little baby, right? I mean, you're sitting in traffic. Okay, it happens. Update on the national championship lacrosse.
That's what I was gonna do. Notre Dame leads Duke 6-1.
Wow.
With 3 minutes to go in the second quarter.
All right, we're going to get down to our final thing. And again, congratulations to both of those teams for reaching that point. And we want to say thank you again to those that have sacrificed so much to afford us the opportunity to sit here and give off our ridiculous opinions here on Mouth and Off Sports Talk. Happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. All right, guys, a couple of weeks ago, the NFL schedule release came out. And I thought it was interesting. On your screen right now is a look at the top strength of schedules. The Eagles with the toughest strength of schedule next year. The Dolphins are second. The Giants are third. Patriots fourth. You can read. What stood out to you guys about the schedule release? Because I've got some problems with what the NFL did this go around.
My biggest gripe is the United States being robbed of a Tyreek Hill return to Kansas City. That's a game that's taking place over in Germany.
Joke.
Yes. For me, having a game in Germany isn't a joke, but that game in particular.
It is to me, but go ahead.
Having that game in particular, being the one played in Germany, come on, man. That is a storyline we have been waiting for the last year, right? I mean, we've been waiting for Tyreek Hill to return back to playing at Kansas City against his former team after the comments he made once he made the transition. Hey, Tua is one of the most accurate guys I've had the pleasure of playing with.
The thing that upsets me, and I'm glad you brought up Germany, is there's so many overseas games. I can't stand it. First of all, people, they don't care over there. They don't. They'll pack the stadium, but they don't care. This is America's pastime now, is the NFL. You want to go play exhibition games overseas? Go do that. But we only get 272 regular season games and 17 regular season games. Keep them all in the United States. There are cities in this country that would die for an NFL regular season game. Citrus Bowl would love to host one, right?
Yes.
Okay? I mean, I'm just saying, there are other I get you got to have that international dollar. I get you got to be able to market jerseys overseas. I get all of this. Okay? And look, if you want to go play one or two, that's fine. How many are we playing overseas this year?
3.
Okay.
We're 2 in London, I believe, and 1 in Germany.
Yeah, go play one. The international slate features games in 3 consecutive weeks. I'm over it. Go play one and let these teams come back here. You're playing in Frankfurt, okay? You're right. The Kansas City Miami game, Indianapolis and New England.
I think there's 5 games.
You're right. There is 5.
My bad.
Because the Jags
are playing back to back. Right. Yeah. So go play 2. Nah, go play 1. And the other 4 need to be here. You're right. There are 5. 3 in the UK and 2 in Germany. So there are 5 total.
And that I think is more my point. Is I don't mind if you had a game, and you make one international game, make it a big deal. And then you
make
can
them want it.
Right.
23 games will be Super Bowl rematches. 14 games are rematches from last year's playoffs, which is really cool. The 2 most recent winners of the MVP, Mahomes and Rodgers, are scheduled to face off for the first time in their careers when the Chiefs visit the Jets on Sunday Night Football. The top 2 picks in the 2023 NFL Draft, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, are scheduled to meet in Week 8 when the Panthers host the Texans. So there are some of the sidebars to the schedule this year. The weakest strength of schedule, Cleveland, Carolina. There you go, Jackson. Tennessee, Indy, Houston, New Orleans, and Atlanta. The weakest strength of schedule with their opponents last year coming in at a .417 winning percentage. I'm just going to play it all on the screen. Okay, so outside, I'm sorry, Jackson, I didn't get your thoughts. What stood out to you on the schedule release?
A lot of those little tidbits you said. I think this year's schedule is going to be really fun. There's a lot of games with high, like ante, like Mahomes and Rodgers for the first time, number 1 versus number 2 picks. Even game that's Carolina versus Houston. That doesn't sound like that big of a game, but now you get to see the number 1, number 2 pick. You know, people can run away with that, who should have been number 1 or whatever, but I think this year's schedule just has a lot of those very entertaining games, 14 playoff rematches. I just think the quality of games this year is going to be good, and I also think Thursday night football is going to be better this year than last year's Amazon Prime disaster.
That's the other thing, too. Now they've gone to this Peacock crap.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime, Peacock, the NFL Sunday Ticket is now going to be on YouTube. You're going to have to watch 40 different networks to get all your football next year.
Well, and Peacock's a playoff game as well.
Right, that's exactly right.
Well, don't say you have Amazon is now having the ability to flex to flex games. I think it's like weeks 13 through 17 or so, I believe it is.
All
so that's going to screw with ticket holders going to the game on multiple levels.
All right, you're right. You're absolutely right, because that is bad. Because that's nighttime.
Yes,
you can flex a day game.
Right.
Don't mess with me on my night.
Well, that's the thing.
Huh?
And it's 4 days.
Right.
Right. So you.
That's right.
You say you buy tickets to what's originally a Sunday 1 or 4 o'clock game. Then say it gets flexed to a Thursday night. Can you still bring the family? His kids still got to go to school, Thursday,
My
Friday.
dad would have said, "Get in the car, you going, boy."
Right. But but we're talking about the average American family here, not.
And it's flights if you're planning to fly in on a Saturday for a Sunday game.
Nope, you're right.
Turn all that to a Wednesday or Thursday.
All right, so let's go real quick over the Bucs, the Jags, and the Finns, and give our predictions based on their schedules. We'll start with the only team in the NFC in the state of Florida, the Bucs. The Vikings, Bears, Eagles, Saints. That's one. They're going to start off at Minnesota. They get 2 weeks at home against the Bears, and the Eagles, they go to New Orleans. They get a bye week, an early bye week this year, and I don't think it's going to matter for the Bucs. They could have a bye whenever. Then they come home for 2 against the Lions and the Falcons, and then the Bills, the Texans, the Titans, and then they go to San Francisco and Indianapolis. Carolina, home, at Atlanta, at Green Bay, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and then at Carolina. You need to go get the Charger in there, please.
Okay.
And then, so Jackson, how do you see the schedule breaking down for the Bucs this year?
I have the Bucs going 5-12 this season, and it's hard because I think that they do have winnable games, but. I mean, I think you go into the bye week, I think they'll be 1-3. I think you beat the Bears, you lose the Vikings, Eagles, and Saints. The division will be interesting because the NFC South this year looks completely different, but I still don't think it'd be that good. But the Bucs, obviously without Tom Brady, I think that they'll split the Falcons and either the Saints or the Panthers. I think they will get swept by one team. I think it's the Panthers. I think they can split the Saints because they got swept by the Panthers, or they got split last year. But they have games like the Colts and the Texans. Those are both teams that had top 5 draft picks. I think they split those games. I think you take one of those on the road and you lose the other. I think, but just for them, it's just a lot of games that I think they're close to winnable. At Green Bay, that's one. No Aaron Rodgers, no Tom Brady. Those are both 2 teams that haven't looked like this in a while. So, I think for Tampa, it's going to be a big step back. As I said, 5-12 this season. I could see that jumping maybe to 6 wins or dropping down to could even see 3 or 4 wins.
On your screen right now, as you see I like to make my predictions on teams based on the quarterbacks they play. So they got at Kirk Cousins week 1. They got Jalen Hurts week 3, Carr 4, Goff 6, Allen 8. Who knows who will be the 49ers quarterback? Trevor Lawrence week 16 and Carr again in week 17. So I guess my question is, of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks there, because they Carr twice. To me, I look at that on my screen and I say, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 losses. I don't think they beat any of those quarterbacks next year head to head. I just don't. Maybe they beat Carr once. Okay, maybe they split with Carr, right, and the Saints just because that's what they do. or Saints. Saints. Yeah, Saints. Yeah, for me, I've got the Bucks as a 4-win team last year. I have them solely I got them in the Caleb Williams line next year.
Mine is I have 4 or 5 wins. I did say 5-12, but
right.
I think that's a good take because my other gripe for Tampa is losing Tom Brady. They were second in the league last year in passing yards a game, dead last in rushing yards a game.
I need you to plug in. I need you to plug in the device.
I am in the device. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Just try now. Unplug and then I'll plug up again. The beauty of live.
No, word.
Hold up.
There we go. We're good.
All right, we're good? Okay,
Yes, we
I'm
are.
sorry. So repeat what you just said. So you got the Bucks at what?
5-12.
Okay.
But as I was saying, again, last year, second in the league in passing yards per game with Tom Brady. Now you take that away, and they were dead last in rushing yards a game. They didn't go out and get anybody. They only lost Leonard Fournette. So I think their offense is going to be a serious issue this season.
Where you got them next year, Brown?
I got him. I believe I text you 5-12.
All right, so let's move on to the AFC, and let's start with the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins open up with 2 on the road at the Chargers and the Patriots. 3 of their first 4 are away. They've got the Broncos at home, and then they travel to Buffalo. They then come home for 2 against the Giants and the Panthers, and then travel to Philadelphia. They then host New England. They got the game in Frankfurt against Kansas City. They come on a bye week. Then it's the Raiders. Then they go, it seems like they're on the road all year. Then they're at the Jets on a Friday night. That's the other thing I hate about this schedule. Why is the NFL playing on Black Friday this year? That is college football's day. Stay off of it. But they are, and that's Black Friday. Then they travel to play the Commanders. Then they get the Titans on Monday Night Football, the Jets and the Cowboys at home. Then they'll go get beat in Baltimore, and then they will host the Buffalo Bills. So that's the Miami Dolphins schedule, as I'll put it up on the screen here for you. Where do you see the Dolphins this year, Jackson?
I have them at 10-7 this season. I like this team when they're fully healthy. Now, this season all obviously hinges on Tua's health. If he stays healthy through the whole year, I think 10-7, double-digit wins are definitely doable. If Tua goes down, things definitely change. I think their schedule is not a pushover at all. It's one of the highest in strength of schedule. I think games like starting off at
Second.
Starting off at the Chargers tough. I think they kind of go 1-for-1, like win-loss all the way to the bye week. Chargers win, Patriots loss, Broncos win, Bills loss, et cetera, et cetera. You're kind of flip-flopping for a while. You come out of the break. I think they can take some wins. Their division's going to be difficult. The Jets bringing in Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to be, easy wins anymore. I think the Patriots will be that team. I think they can sweep New England. I think they'll split both New York and Buffalo because they play the Bills on week 17, so that gives them a shot to win at home. I think the Dolphins will have a solid year, and I think they'll be a wild card playoff team.
Going with the same theory that I use when I predict schedules, what quarterbacks are you going against? Your quarterback is Tua Tagovailoa. So you got Herbert week 1, Wilson week 3, Allen week 5, Hurts week 7, Mahomes. There you see it on your list. That's a gauntlet of quarterbacks right there. Okay? For me, I think the Miami Dolphins are a good football team, but this is a tough schedule. Not because of the teams, but because of the quarterbacks they're going up against. Okay? You look at that list right there. To me, this looks 9-8-ish.
Yeah.
That's where it looks to me.
Okay.
Where do you have them, Caleb?
I have them, I believe, at 9-8 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because to me, Wilson's beatable. Hurts is tough. Herbert's tough.
And you're at Allen, you're at Hurts,
Right.
You're at Mahomes, you're at Rodgers, and you're at Lamar.
Prescott's beatable. I think they might split one with Buffalo as well.
Yeah, look, if you give them the home wins, let's say they beat Allen, they beat Prescott, they beat Wilson. That's 3, right?
Yep.
Let's give them one road win. That's 4. That's still tough.
Yeah.
I got them at 9-8 next year. And they play some pretty damn tough defenses, too. Keeping Tua healthy is going to be tough.
100%.
So let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who you look at the Jaguars' strength of schedule next year, and where is it? Well, let's see here. Where was it? It's somewhere in the middle of the pack. So if you look at Jacksonville, let me get that pulled up here. At Indy, then they host Kansas City, they host Texas. Then they go to London for 2 against Atlanta and Buffalo at Wembley and Tottenham. Then they come home to play Indianapolis. Then they go on the road for 2 at New Orleans, at Pittsburgh. Bye week. Then they host the 49ers and the Titans. They go to Texans. They host the Bengals. They go to Cleveland. They host the Ravens again. Yay! I can see the 4 of us back up there again, can't you?
Yeah.
At Tampa. That's a win. Carolina home and at Tennessee this year. Now a lot of people say, man, that's a tough schedule. I've heard a lot of people say this was a tough schedule. It's not a tough schedule.
No.
There are some tough teams on it, but here are the quarterbacks they face. And this is why I think this sets up for an amazing run for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. I just think this schedule, they got Mahomes week 2, Allen week 5, Carr week 7, whoever the San Francisco quarterback is in week 10, and Lamar. Look, they beat Lamar last year.
Don't forget about Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't put Joe Burrow in there, too. Oh, my bad. So, Joe Burrow, okay. They get Burrow at home, right? Mm-hmm. So, you got Mahomes at home. They almost beat them in the playoffs, okay? They came the closest to beating Kansas City than anybody did in the playoffs, I felt. Okay? They go play Buffalo. Even if they lost, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games. And that's adding Burrow in there. Even if they lost all 6 of those games, the other 11 are winnable, right? Puts them at 11-7. But I just think that this is going to be a damn good football team this year. I just see it coming. This reminds me so much of the Eagles team with Doug Peterson in his second year at Philadelphia, where he took them to the Super Bowl. I see a lot of similarities. Trevor Lawrence is a far better quarterback than anything Doug Peterson had in Philadelphia at the time. I have the Jaguars at 13-4 this year.
Look, they definitely have the schedule favorable to do something like that. I have them at I think it was like 11-6 or 11-5. One of the.
You had them at 11-6.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, so there's Caleb's 9-8, 11-6, and 5-12. There's Jackson. Jackson, you've got them at 11-6.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the hype around Jacksonville.
And it should be there.
Yes, I think their schedule allows it. I think Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne are good. We'll see what Calvin Ridley does. My gripe is still offensive line and secondary. And I think that this team is very
fair.
Good. I think their schedule is very good. But this team only went 9-8 last year. Trevor Lawrence, in that win over the Chargers, huge comeback, 4 interceptions. I think that their schedule favors it. Their division favors it. I think 11-6. I could see 12-5. I normally add in that extra loss because there's always one you don't really expect. I think that they can go out. They could sweep their division. I think that they might as well.
They should. You got 2 quarterbacks that are first-round draft picks in the division. You should go 4-0 against them.
Yeah. My only thing could be the Titans, that Week 17 game, but I think they're beatable as well. I do think the Jags can go 11-6, 12-5 at best for me, but I do think they're going to have to play. I think they have the talent to do it, but they're going to have to play as a unit, play a very strong season. I think their schedule allows it to set up for a favorable playoff run as well. I could see Jacksonville pushing deeper in the playoffs than maybe in the regular season.
Calling my shot now, Jaguars. Chiefs, AFC Championship game next year. Calling my shot. Good call it right now. All right, the big deal, guys, final thing we'll talk about are these quarterbacks in the AFC, which are ridiculously sick, by the way, okay? So I ask you both to put together who you thought the top 10 quarterbacks in the AFC were, because there's a lot of good I mean, other than Jalen Hurts, I don't even know who the NFC's got left that's worth anything. But so I ask you to put together your top 10 list of who you thought the 10 best quarterbacks. And that list is on the screen now. And pretty much we all have Mahomes 1. We all have Burrow 2. We all have Josh Allen 3. But we all have someone different for 4. Jackson, you have Justin Herbert for 4. I have Trevor Lawrence. You have Aaron Rodgers. Why Herbert?
I just think now you're adding the playmakers. They bring in Quentin Johnston. I think he's going to be able to elevate an already impressive game that he has. Although the Burrow-Herbert debate may be favoring the other way, I think Herbert's coming into his own as a good deep passer. Again, you add some weapons. I think he'll be able to just elevate his game and show off his skills. And I just think overall he's a great passer. I think, he can limit turnovers and be a very strong quarterback this year for a strong roster out there in L.A. I think they're setting him up to succeed with his playmaking ability.
Why Aaron Rodgers as high as 4, Caleb?
I think the Jets have some good playmakers that weren't able to be used a lot last year due to their quarterback focusing on picking up his teammates' mothers rather than playing the game of football. Look, for as much as we joke about Aaron Rodgers and his antics off the field, we all know when he steps on the field, he's a damn good quarterback, and he's someone that can lead a team, especially a struggling team like the Jets have been, grasping at some form of relevancy again. And I think he is the guy. They've had a good defense, and I think now that you're going to have an offense that I think can score points, that's why Aaron Rodgers 4.
I moved Trevor Lawrence up because I think that when you look at Trevor Lawrence and what he's got this year, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley, and I think Calvin Ridley looks great in the OTAs, by the way. Evan Ingram over there at tight end. I love Travis at the end at running back. I think he's got some real weapons. Again, the offensive line is a question mark because you look at that offensive line right now, and they've got Walker Little, Brandon Sheriff, Luke Fortner, Ben Barch, and Cam Robinson. But my whole thing is this. He's done something that Justin Herbert has not. And that's just won a playoff game. I don't care if he threw 4 interceptions or not. He won a playoff game. And who did he beat?
Justin
Just saying. So I'm going to give Trevor Lawrence the nod over Justin Herbert. And I don't know that Aaron Rodgers gets to come into the AFC, even after all of what he's done in the NFC, and jump the likes. Yeah, I guess he's earned that. I can see that. I can see Rodgers at 4, and I can see Herbert at 4 too. At 5, you've got Jackson. You've got Rodgers. I've got Herbert at 5. You've got Herbert at 5. Yep. At 6, you've got Lawrence. I've got Lamar Jackson. You've got Lamar Jackson. Jackson, you got Jackson, Tagovailoa, Garoppolo, and Stroud to round out. I've got Jackson, Rodgers, Tagovailoa, Wilson. I've put Russell Wilson in there. And Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm excited to see Russell Wilson. I'll throw Russell Wilson to get away if he has another bad season with Sean Payton in Denver this year. And Caleb, you have Trevor Lawrence. I think you have Trevor Lawrence ranked way too low on this list. I don't think Deshaun Watson deserves to be on it. Tua Tagovailoa and Jimmy Garoppolo. Final thoughts on your list, guys.
My one thing I was going to touch on, and I'm the only one that went here, but C.J. Stroud at 10. I put a rookie in here over guys like Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Yeah. I have that as how I think he's going to do with room to go up. I obviously had all the research doing for the number 1 pick for my Panthers, and I thought Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud go back and forth. I think this guy this year is going to be able to make plays for Houston. I think he's going to get put as the main guy on this offense. He's going to be able to kind of be able to make plays and be the focal point of this team. And I think that the Texans are setting themselves up for success. And I just think that's kind of the youth of it. I think Russell Wilson, last season was so bad. Now give him a chance to come back this year, but I do have fears that it was Pete Carroll in Seattle that elevated him to the top of the upper echelon. And for a guy like Deshaun Watson, I just think the guy that will end up being a top 10 quarterback this year in the AFC will be C.J. Stroud, so I put him accordingly, although he might not have stepped on the field yet.
I put Jackson at 6 because I felt like, you know what, I love the direction of the offense under Todd Monken. I love the fact that the Ravens are committed to throwing the football more. And Lamar Jackson can sit at OTAs and say all he wants that they're going to throw the football more. But the first time Lamar Jackson feels backside pressure, guess what he's going to do, guys? He's going to take off down the football field. That's Lamar Jackson. Caleb, final thoughts on your list?
My only defense, and it can be thrown out for me putting Deshaun Watson where I did, is because I do believe when he's given a full off season and can actually...
He had a full off season last year.
Full off season and a half.
Yeah. I mean, he's been out for 18 months. He's had plenty of time. Go ahead.
To work with the team and actually being able to start the season practicing.
There you go.
Practicing.
That I get. That I understand.
Practicing with the team from the start now. Now you're not having he can do preseason and then sit on the bench till week 10 or
yeah, it was
whenever.
week 10. I just think that it's so hard for a quarterback to sit out of this league for as long as he did and come back. Now maybe, those 7 games he came back and played last year have got him. And maybe you're right. Maybe he gets that full camp with Cleveland, and we'll see. I think they're the quarterback with the most to prove on this list are 2, Deshaun Watson and Jimmy Garoppolo. I think are your 2 quarterbacks with the most to prove. And I think the quarterback with the most to prove in terms of health is Tua Tagovailoa. I think the rest of them, Lamar Jackson's just going to have to go out and prove he's worth the money the Ravens paid for him. The rest of them, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, we'll see. Their contracts are coming up. We've all done our idiots and our angels of the week. Your camera has died, so you are out.
Okay.
But they can still hear you, I believe, speak.
Yes, they should be able to still hear me.
Okay, yep. So your camera is gone. 2.5-hour show, that's going to happen. So, Jackson, your angel was who again?
Derek White and Joe Mazzulla.
There you go. From the Boston Celtics. And you got the Celtics in Game 7. Caleb, who you got in Game 7?
Game 7, I got the Heat.
All right. I've got the Heat tonight myself. Your angel was?
The Penn State men's lacrosse team.
All right. And why?
Because last season they went 3-11, didn't make the tournament. This season they completely turned it around with, I think, only 1 or 2 transfers, maybe. And they made it to the Final Four and were slated as
And your idiot was the NCAA.
Yes, and NCAA on the lacrosse.
On the lacrosse thing. My angel of the week is Coach Scarby, Beth Scarborough. Retires after 40 years at Rockledge High School in the track team. I'm going to end with this tonight. Last week at Walk-Ons, I had an opportunity to sit down with Brevard County School Board Chair Matt Susan. And I had an opportunity to ask him a couple of questions. The first question I asked Matt Susan was about hosting state championship facilities, because certainly USSSA is capable of hosting a state baseball and softball championships. And if you were at the 1S and 2S football state championships last year, then Palm Bay's capable of hosting, and Holy Trinity or Melbourne capable of hosting state football championships, right? So, but I asked Matt Susan about that, and here's what he said. That happened.
Absolutely. Like, I will tell you right now, the game that the FHSAA plays to corner the market on our kids that are our students, to not be able to have individuals like you doing video and stuff like that and all those games, that was an 18-month battle, and we made sure that our local providers could be out there. And now, seeing what's happening here today, to where you can't get over there to do the video, Space Coast Daily can't get over there to do the video, those are our darn kids. You don't own our kids, last time I checked. So there's going to be a conversation after this is over. We're also dealing with the stuff that's going on down from Northwest High School with Rockledge. That That I'm very upset about. I sent an email over to the superintendent. I'm still requesting some information. Our lawyers have gotten involved. There's some stuff. You don't treat our kids in Brevard any different than you do treat your kids down there, and we're going to hold them accountable for what they did. I mean, I think that superintendent's a great superintendent. I think his administration's great, but what they did to our kids is unacceptable, and we're not going to take that for. We're just not going to do that. Like, we're going to hold them accountable.
And I love that about you, Matt, because couple of years ago, it was another issue that came up with O'Galley and Archbishop McCarthy when they got
they got cheated out of that whole thing. And even Doty last year for Viera, where he got into that thing, garbage. I mean, like, we go down there, we play these schools. Even this year, when St. Thomas came to Viera to play a girls' soccer game, right, or a men's soccer game, they walked around like they owned the field. I'm sorry. The next time they come up and do that, we will have them arrested and trespassed. I promise you. They come up here and try to push themselves around in our field, start saying stuff to our administrators, I'll put the policy in that makes them not. I mean, I am telling you right now, that is unbelievable behavior, and we won't accept it. And what we need to do is we need to start traveling with some of our administrators down to these other games to be there for our teams when they go to play them, because it's unacceptable to go to a place where they try to leverage some sort of illegal activity, try to get there. I mean, look what happened to O'Galley. In the last minute, a lawsuit comes in to fight the FHSAA and allow kids that overpitch the number of balls in a game to continue to play, even though, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And if the FHSAA isn't going to hold our kids safe and accountable and stuff like that, then we need to help them get there. You know what I mean? And that's it. Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
No, that's all right. I like it. All right, that was the other clip that we played that I asked him about some of the other issues. Here's the clip about the state championship. Cities, but yet year in and year out, there's a Brevard County team there battling those guys. I want to ask you, the facility, and I'm glad you brought it up, because we certainly have the facilities here to host these state championship events. How do you go about getting them here?
So we have to create an articulation agreement with all of our cities and the county. So they all need to come on board. We also need to get some seed money from the TDC so that we can make this thing happen, which they've entertained the thought that this is a good idea. Then what we have to do is we have to invite all of those programs to come here, and it would be, and then you have to worry about what the FHSAA, I have to see how that works. Some of the stuff that I don't think that it would have to run through them, but we got to be honest, like, when we run deep into the playoffs here in Brevard, one of the things that we run into is we run into those schools where they're recruiting in other countries. They're able to have kids that live there on campus. They have facilities that they can spend millions of dollars. There's just rules that are different than public schools. So when we get to those and we run deep into the playoffs and we lose to them, it's not fair because it is a different set of standards. And I don't care what anybody says. Listen, I love them. Great programs, some of the IMG Academy and stuff like that. But when you got a public school that doesn't allow you to go outside of your boundaries to have kids come in, and restriction policies and everything else, that is not the same thing. When you can't pay your coaches extra stipends from different stuff, that's not the same thing. So we got to get to a place where level playing field, let's go see what we can do. And we're still beating all our booties up there in all the other areas, you know what I mean? And look what we're doing, look what Viera's doing. So we're able to beat, even though we still have those kind of issues, but let's go see what we can do against these other public schools.
Great interview there from Brevard Public School Board Chair Matt Sousa. Go back and watch it. I might cut it out and just put it up individually. All right, so that's going to wrap it up tonight for the show. I want to thank Jackson and Caleb, and, of course, all of our sponsors, Archaic Design. Of course, we want to thank Connect Sports Consulting. Want to thank Better View Cabinets and Surfaces. Want to thank BlackRock Engineering and Technology, as well as Zone 6 7v7 and athletic training. And don't forget, coming up Wednesday night, it is the Brevard Soccer Club against the Villages. If you can't make it down to Melbourne Central Catholic, which is a good time, check it out here. Matt Shelton and Caleb Brown on the call. So that'll wrap it up for Mouthin All Sports Talk. I want to thank these two guys again, and, of course, happy Memorial Day to all of you out there. And we want to thank those, again, for sacrificing so much so that we could do all of this. So for Caleb Brown, for Jackson Robb, I'm Alan Slaughterzinski. This has been a presentation of Brevard Sports Network. Have a great day, everybody. And you know what? Today's a really good day to make it a sports day.